Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Konoha. Opening Sign to Reincarnation I. Chapter 21. Whoosh whoosh. Between the mountains and forests outside Konoha village, the two figures performed a teleportation technique, and they ran wildly until they left Konoha far before they stopped. The two were breathing heavily, their faces were full of horror, sweating profusely, and their faces were pale. It is the surviving watermelon mountain puffer ghost and no pair Jinba among the 7 people of ninja swords. Ying. It should be fine, right? That scary guy, didn't he come after him? Zigwashin Pufferfish raised his head and glanced at Konoha's direction subconsciously, and asked Wooly Jinba with a trembling voice. How do I know? He can fly the Thunder God technique, and maybe he will appear in front of us in the next moment. Wooly Jinba said angrily. If you say that, we are safe for the time being. Zigwashin Pufferfish was startled, and then he couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. Wooly Jinba is right, the other party has Flying Thunder God, and they can't escape by using the instant body technique. If the other party really wanted to chase them, they would have caught up long ago, and they would not have let them escape until now. Since the other party has not appeared for so long, it means that the other party has let them go. I really didn't expect that Konoha would have such a terrifying character. Wooly Jinba also breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat from his forehead. The 7 of us are traversing the world of ninjas, and I never thought that 5 of us would die in Konoha this time. Yeah, that person, it's terrible. I don't want to see him again in my life. Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish also sighed in agreement. When the two said this, they couldn't help but glance at each other, and each saw the same question in each other's eyes. Only, who is the holy man? They have already reacted, and the mysterious person is probably not Minato Namikaze. After all, this makes no sense at all. It is impossible for Minato Namikaze to use the transformation technique to fight them, right? What's more, if Namikaze Minato really had that terrifying black flame, why didn't he use it for so long after the 3 battles? Obviously, the mysterious man is someone else. In order to catch a girl, 5 ninja knives were put into it. This loss is too great. We have to go back to the village immediately and tell the news to Mistress Shueying. The Watermelon Mountain Puffer ghost said in a deep voice. As for the capture of the ninja named Lin, whether it was a failure or a success, the two of them still don't know. However, they have been scared by Lu Ren, and they have no courage to return to Konoha in any case. Although the 7 ninja swordsmen were repelled by Lu Ren, Konoha was still not calm. When the fog was shrouded in the past, many ninjas from Korean got in. These ninjas are all sneaking in Konoha, but they don't attack important places in Konoha, assassinate important people in Konoha, and don't intrude on civilians and destroy the village. In a word, sneaking and sneaking, like a mouse in the dark can't see the light. Even if it is discovered by Konoha's ninja, he will never fight with him, and will transfer and escape as soon as possible. After this continued for a while, Kuryuki's ninja started to retreat in a hurry. This made Sarutobi Hizen and the others all bewildered. Naruto office. Sarutobi Hizen sat on the supreme position, and in front of him were the military advisor Nara Shikahisa and 2 senior Hokage advisors. Obviously, it was for the mist-hidden invasion. This time Wyan's invasion is full of strangeness. They dispatched a lot of people this time, and even the 7 people of Ninja Sword appeared in Konoha together. But after such a big battle, they didn't seem to do anything, and it seemed that they left in a hurry after Konoha hurried around. Lu Ju, you have always been resourceful. You analyze and analyze, what kind of conspiracy is Wuin doing this? After deliberating for a while, everyone could not get to the point, so Sarutobi Hizen couldn't help but ask Nara Shikahisa. Kurikaku Anbu quietly sneaked into Konoha to hide and act in secret, but the 7 ninja swordsmen appeared in the village with a high profile, and they appeared together. Judging from the performance of the 7 ninja swordsmen and Anbu, it seems that the 7 ninja swordsmen deliberately acted in a high-profile manner, in order to attract Konoha's attention, so that it was convenient for them to act in the dark. Obviously, the Anbu of Wuin is carrying out a very important task, but what is the specific task? The information currently available is not enough, and it is not enough to analyze it. Nara Shikahisa can't analyze anything, after all, there is not much information at present. Everyone discussed and discussed, but they all had no clue. Hokage-sama, this is the battle damage list. When everyone was finished discussing, a person from Anbu sent over the battle damage list of the village this time. Sarutobi Hizen looked at it and found that Konoha suffered a small loss under the premise of such a large-scale invasion by Kurigakura this time. The building is basically intact, with only a few damaged, not worth mentioning. In addition, there were 16 dead ninjas, 23 injured, and 1 missing. The list of death ninjas, Sarutobi Hizen glanced at it, knowing what he knew, and did not pay much attention. As for the missing person, Sarutobi Hizen couldn't help but glance at it, because it was Nohara Rin, a student of Namikaze Minato. After Sarutobi Hizen read the list of battle damage, he showed the list to the higher-ups in the office. In the end, it fell into the hands of Nara Shikahisa. A Chunin is missing. I'm afraid there is something strange about this. Nara Shikahisa thought for a while and made a guess. The battlefield of this war is my Konoha. Even if a person dies, the body will be left behind. How can he disappear? Nohara Rin, it's very likely that she was kidnapped by the hidden mist. Could it be that Wuin spent so much trouble this time? The purpose is this Chunin. Everyone's brows furrowed fiercely, so many people were dispatched, and they came only for a Chunin. What's so special about that Chunin? But now that the situation is urgent, everyone is not allowed to discuss slowly here. Of course, there is another possibility. This is a complete coincidence. Nohara Rin had disappeared before, but was only discovered when the battle damage was counted at this moment. Although this possibility is extremely small, it is not impossible. Exactly how, cannot be conclusive. Nara Shikahisa immediately advised Sarutobi Hizen to trace Nohara Rin's whereabouts. As for those Kirige's ninjas, there are a large number of them, and since Nikaze Minato is not in the village, it is not appropriate to pursue them. Go and call Kakashi and Kimura Kunin. Sarutobi Hizen ordered casually. After a pause, he added another person, and Uchiha Ryublade. Yes, Hokage-sama. A man from Anbu responded, unfolding the teleportation technique and disappearing. Lord Hokage, call me by name. When Lu Ren heard the news, he was still a little surprised, and it was not surprising that Hizen Sarubi noticed him. But Sarutobi Hizen suddenly named Lu Ren at such a time, which really made Lu Ren not sure. Now that Kurikan is invading Konoha, Sarutobi Hizen should have a lot of mess to clean up. Why did he think of himself? Could it be that he was looking for him for the sake of Wuin? Other than that, Ryuin couldn't think of any other possibility. I used Amaterasu to burn Danzo's arm, and I used Amaterasu to kill Loquat Juzo in front of Hong and Akai. Hong and the others must have reported this information to Hokage. Could it be Sarutobi Hizen already knew that I was the one who killed the 7 ninja swordsmen? Lu Ren pondered in his mind secretly. However, this is purely due to Lu Ren thinking too much. He didn't know that Sarutobi Hizen did not reveal the mysterious person who killed the 7 ninja swordsmen. After all, there is a person who has no identity, no purpose, no depth, and the least shadow level hidden in Konoha village. If such a thing spreads, it will cause an uproar. Especially people with ulterior motives like Danzo, who know that they will definitely find a way to stir up the storm. Therefore, before finding out some clues, Sarutobi Hizen plans to keep this matter a secret. Another Danzo, who had seen Lu Ren's true abilities, also chose to hide Lu Ren's Shakernian for selfish reasons. Therefore, the secret of Ryurin is still not leaked. With a mess of thoughts, Lu Ren quickly came to Hokage's office. When he arrived, he saw Kakashi and another ninja whom Ryurin had never seen, also waiting in the Hokage office. The 3 of you temporarily form a team to perform a tracking mission. Sarutobi Hizen didn't say much nonsense. After everyone came, he made an announcement directly. With the evacuation of the Kuriga's ninja, Nohara Rin, a student of Namaifung Minato, also disappeared together. We have reason to suspect that it was the Kirigage ninja who kidnapped Rin Nohara. What, Lin? Kakashi's color suddenly changed, and he raised his head suddenly, looking unacceptable. Obito's death had already dealt a great blow to him. If something happened to Lin again, Kakashi's young heart would not be able to bear it. Nohara Rin is missing. I'll go. When Lu Ren heard the news, he was calm on the surface, but he couldn't calm down in his heart. During this period, Wuin captured Lin. There is no doubt that Banye started to plan to bring the soil. Obito's tragic life is about to begin. The task of the three of you is to find out the matter and find Lin's whereabouts. Do you understand? Sarutobi Hizen said to several people again. Clear, several people answered in unison. However, after hearing the mission, Lu Ren was still full of scorn in his heart. Rin and Kakashi are both students of Minato Namikaze, and Kakashi also has a psychic beast like a ninja dog, so in terms of tracking tasks, it is naturally the most suitable. But what kind of trouble did Sarutobi Hizen call to go by himself? Wouldn't it be Lao Su who beat Sarutobi Asma? You old man will avenge your private revenge. This quest is said to be a tracking quest, but it is actually quite dangerous. Do you really think those ninjas in Kurikan are joking? This is because Lu Ren has thought too much. The pattern of Sarutobi Hizen is not so naive. He chose Lu Ren for two reasons. One is from a task perspective. First of all, because it is uncertain whether Nohara Rin was taken away by Kurigakura, although this possibility is not small, it is only an inference. That's why Sarutobi Hidden needs this tracking mission for confirmation. Note that this is a tracking mission, not a rescue mission. A team is enough. But also considering the potential danger, it is still necessary to select some powerful people. With one move, he defeated the special Jonin Sarutobi Asma, and his strength was confirmed by Danzo, which is also reasonable in the list of Sarutobi Hizen. What's more, the village was already seriously understaffed during the war, and Konoha's people had just been killed by Wuin again. It's strange that Lu Ren, a master who suddenly appeared, was not noticed. Another reason is that Sarutobi Hizen also wanted to use this opportunity to see the true skills of Ryuin. Can defeat Sarutobi Asma's taijutsu, and it is impossible to say that Sarutobi Hizen is not curious. Sarutobi Hizen named Liurin this time, but his mind was indeed not too pure. It's not too late, you all go now. Yes, Hokage-sama. 3 people came out. After all, Kakashi is more familiar with Nohara Rin. During the Battle of Kanabi Bridge, Nohara Rin also gave Kakashi a gift, and he took the gift directly. Then he quickly summoned Parker and started tracking. Whoosh whoosh, the 3 figures began to walk through quickly, and soon came out of Konoha. Following Parker's super sense of smell, the 3 worked tirelessly all the way, followed a long distance, and finally chased them all the way to the shore leading to the Land of Water. The Land of Water is surrounded by water on all sides. It is an island country isolated by the vast waters. If you want to go to Wuin, you must go by water. This is only the first isolation barrier outside. Even if he crossed the river and went to the Land of Water, the surroundings of Wuin were still shrouded in white mist, which was the second barrier. It is very dangerous for intruders. I can smell the smell extending all the way to the water in front of me. Now I can be sure that Nohara Rin was caught by the Misty Ninja. Let's go back to our lives. Parker advises Kakashi. Yes, Kakashi, we can't act recklessly. I know you want to save Rin Nohara, and we do too, but it's not something the 3 of us can do. We will go back and return to life, the village will not ignore it. Kimura-kunin also comforted Kakashi. Kakashi was calmer than everyone imagined. He nodded. Let's go back. If you want to save Nohara Rin as soon as possible, the best way is to return to Konoha for a long-term plan. Several people started the teleportation technique again and returned quickly. No, the people from Wuin are catching up. However, not long after they returned, they suddenly noticed that a group of ninjas from the fog were chasing after them. Everyone couldn't help but frown. They stopped outside Wuin village rationally, and did not choose to scare the snakes, but Wuin did not let them go. Even those who inquired about the news had to be silenced. It seems that this time Wyon's plot must be very profound. Parker, how many are there in total? Kakashi asked his ninja dog as he walked through the jungle. Parker's dog's nose moved, and his voice became very solemn. 12 people. 12 people. Both Kakashi and Kimura-kunin's expressions changed slightly. There were only 3 of them. How could they deal with each other's 12 people? This time they are afraid that it will be difficult for them to go back to Konoha. Kimura-kunin and Uchiha Ryuban, the situation is critical now. If we just hurry on our way, we will definitely be overtaken by the people of Korean and kill them. The possibility of a successful breakout is not high. So I have a proposal. After thinking for a while, Kakashi said his plan to several people. We leave 2 people behind and buy time for the other person, this is the only way. Kimura-kunin also nodded, agreeing with Kakashi's opinion. 3 people are not sure about 12 people. This is simply a collective death. Kakashi's method of sacrificing his wrist to save one person is indeed the only way. Then the question arises. The 2 people who are cut off later are faced with a situation where they are almost certain to die. Who is more suitable for the cut-off? Uchiha Ryuin, after the 2 of us break up, you are responsible for bringing the news back to Konoha. Do you understand? Even if you risk your life, you must bring the news back. Kakashi and Kimura-kunin unexpectedly made such a decision unanimously. For no other reason, both of them felt that Uchiha Ryuin's strength was not enough. Kakashi and Kimura-kunin, they are all real joinin. As for Uchiha Rukin, the only record is just the rumor of defeating Sarutobi Asuma. And Kakashi and Ryuin only performed the task of finding Obito half a year ago. At that time, Ryuin was only the cultivation base of Genin. How powerful can he be now? After such a person is cut off, it will have no effect. Understood. You two take care. Lu Ren didn't say much. After all, from a tactical point of view, Kakashi's decision was correct. There is no reason for Lu Ren to refuse. Immediately, Kakashi and Kimura-kunin began to stop, creating some traps to interfere with the enemy in place, and at the same time staying responsible for sniping the enemy and buying time for Ryuin. However, what Kakashi and Kimura-kunin didn't expect was that Lu Ren turned back not long after escaping. Since Lu Ren has the ability and strength, naturally he will not watch Kakashi create opportunities for himself and be killed by the enemy. That would be so disrespectful. But what Lu Ren didn't expect was that after those Kirige's ninjas caught up with Kakashi and Kimura-kunin, they didn't do anything to them at all. But after confronting for a while, he left immediately. Get Harry. Flowing Blade is quite dazed. What is this operation? So many dozen people come up with this kind of battle just to scare everyone. Since he couldn't figure out the mysterious operation of Kurayan, Ryuin didn't even think about it, and he quietly left Kakashi and Kimura-kunin and went on the road alone. Then halfway through, something strange happened. Those ninjas from Kurigakushi actually caught up again. Swish swish. Those ninjas launched the shunjutsu, like dumplings, one by one landed around the flowing blade, surrounding the flowing blade. Your real target, it turns out to be me. At this moment, Lu Ren suddenly came to his senses. These Kurigakushi ninjas were not tracking the Konoha tracking squad from the very beginning, but only Ryuin. It's just that Ryuin stayed with Kakashi, Kimura-kunin and the other 3, so Kakashi and the others misunderstood that they wanted to track the tracking team. However, when they caught up with Kakashi and Kimura-kunin and found that there was no Ryu-Ren, they did not choose to fight with Kakashi and the others. Instead, he escaped directly and continued to track Uchiha Rukin. You are not a ninja of Kurikan at all. Lu Ren's eyes were clear and he had seen through everything. Thinking about it carefully, these people have never stated that they are the Kurigakushi ninjas, and now they don't even wear Kurigakushi's forehead protection. It's just that they appeared in such a sensitive period, and they were subconsciously regarded as Kurayan's ninjas. Superior. After this group of people was stopped, there was no nonsense, and they flew directly towards Lu Ren. Amaterasu. Lu Ren naturally didn't have any nonsense anymore. He switched directly to the kaleidoscope riding wheel eye state, cooperated with the instant body technique, and glared at these people while tossing and turning. What? In the screams of screams, the enemies who rushed one after another fell to the ground, and were burned into nothingness by the black flames. However, after burning 8 people in a row, Ryuin had to stop using Amaterasu to fight. There is no reason for him, the pupil strength is not enough. The lack of pupil power here is completely different from the original Uchiha Itachi's inability to continue. Uchiha Itachi is a little unable to use this pupil technique because the eye level is not up to the level. Forced use will hurt the eyes. On the other hand, the flowing edge is simply because the eyes are tired, and it does not cause any damage to the eyes. As long as you take a rest and recover, you can continue to use it. His pupil technique has reached its limit. Seeing that Lu Ren stopped using the sky-defying means of Amaterasu, the group of enemies were very excited, and they rushed towards Lu Ren again. Without the pupil technique, can I help you? Lu Ren snorted coldly, his face full of disdain and bitterness. Through the confrontation just now, these people are all at the level of Shang Nin, and none of them are at the shadow level. At this level of ninja, Lu Ren has completely ignored it. Facing the remaining 4 people, Lu Ren did not hesitate to open the 8 gates Dunjia to the 4th gate again, and his whole person burst out with an extremely terrifying energy. Swish! The flowing blade turned into a terrifying streamer, and rushed towards the 4 people in the lead. After a dazzling battle, the remaining 4 were easily killed by Lu Ren, and the remaining 2 were seriously injured. Say, who ordered you to come? Lu Ren stared at the 2 remaining people and shouted. The reason why he kept the lives of these 2 people was not because he was merciful, but purely to extract confessions. Terrible pupil technique. Terrifying body technique. Interesting, Danzo is right, you are really interesting. At this time, a very unique hoarse voice sounded, and a person who felt cold like a poisonous snake walked out slowly. His eyes were staring at Ryu Blade, as if he were looking at a work of art. Lu Ren suddenly felt a chill. Orochimaru. Lu Ren raised his head and looked at Orochimaru. He was surprised at first, and then he felt reasonable. There are 2 people in Konoha who coveted the eyes of the Uchiha clan. Not only Danzo, but also the guy Orochimaru, not to mention that Lu Ren used the telescope technique to see with his own eyes the plan of the 2 to attack the Uchiha people. It's just that Lu Ren didn't expect that they actually set the target on themselves. But this is not a strange thing. After all, the Uchiha clan is the largest clan of Konoha, and no one dares to attack directly in the village. Right now, it is a heaven-sent opportunity for Lu Ren to go out of the village to perform a mission. It's really interesting that a Uchiha kid who no one cares about, has such a powerful strength that even Danzo is afraid. Orochimaru walked towards Lu Ren step by step, writing round eyes, what a wonderful thing. Sharing wheel eyes, it's not something you can covet. Lu Ren smiled coldly, calm as a mountain. Even in the face of Sanin, who is famous in the ninja world, there is no trace of panic. Your pupil technique can't be used anymore. How are you going to resist me now? Orochimaru stuck out his tongue and licked it on his lips. Joke. Lu Ren took off his sunglasses at this time, and among his pupils were a pair of blood-red pupils. It is Lu Blade's writing wheel eye. This is the first time that Lu Ren has exposed these eyes to outsiders since Lu Jian obtained the real eternal kaleidoscope. As for why Lu Ren took off his sunglasses, naturally, I want to use the moon reading on Orochimaru. Orochimaru naively thought that after Lu Ren used Amaterasu, he would not be able to use the pupil technique, but he did not know that there was not only one pupil technique for Lu Ren. Of course, it's no wonder Orochimaru. After all, this guy doesn't have the perspective of God, and he is extremely ignorant of Sharingan. Because the sunglasses do not affect the line of sight of Ryurin, even if he is wearing sunglasses, he can use Amaterasu, but the moon reading is different, and he needs to meet the eyes of Ryurin in order to let the opponent be attacked. It's a pair of eyes full of beauty. Orochimaru looked at Lu Ren's writing wheel eyes with admiration all over his face. I laughed at these eyes. Orochimaru stretched out his hand, and an extremely thick black snake flew out of this guy's sleeve. Lu Ren didn't dodge either, but at that moment, the writing wheel turned. Monthly reading. He didn't talk nonsense, and directly launched the super illusion in the Hokage directly at Orochimaru. It was so smooth that it was much easier to pull Orochimaru into the moon reading space than Lu Ren imagined. Among the Hokage, Yuhika, Kakashi, Orochimaru, Deidara. I don't know how many people have been hit by the illusion of the Uchiha clan, and even Urzuzi, the Uchiha clan, has been hit. The recruits basically take the initiative to look at the eyes of the Uchiha family, and it seems that there is no awareness of avoiding eye contact with Uchiha. Only a very limited number of times was someone reminded not to look into the eyes of the Uchiha clan. It can be seen that how to crack the illusion of Sharingan is not a well-known thing in the ninja world. Taking a step back, let's just look at Orochimaru. After Orochimaru joined the Akatsuki organization, he met Itachi, who also joined the Akatsuki organization. At that time, he was already very coveted by Sharingan, and he couldn't help but attack Uchiha Itachi immediately. As a result, he was directly hit by Itachi's illusion, gold binding. It can be seen that at least the consciousness of Orochimaru is very weak. What the hell is going on here? Orochimaru, who was attacking Rukin, suddenly found that the world around him had lost its color all at once, turning into a world of black and white. And he, who was going to catch Uchiha Rukin, was tied to a huge cross at some point. Orochimaru used the strength of milk to try to break free, but was unable to break free. Illusion, I actually fell into the illusion of Uchiha Rukin. Orochimaru is not stupid, he reacted at once, so far, he has behaved calmly. But soon, Orochimaru will usher in his nightmare. Orochimaru, do you think that you are one of the 3 ninjas, so I can't help you? A voice sounded, and Orochimaru only saw a vortex appeared in front of him, and Lu Ren walked out of the vortex directly. He also held a long, extremely sharp sword in his hand. Laugh. Lu Ren directly stabbed the sword into Orochimaru's stomach. Well, even Orochimaru couldn't help but let out a muffled sound at that moment. Although this is an illusion space, the pain is real. Is it only this level? Orochimaru wasn't that easy to handle, and he didn't take it to heart at all. In a provocative manner, he grinned at Lu Ren and sneered. Sorry for disappointing you. Lu Ren snorted and pulled out the sword. I will do my best to satisfy you. After saying this, from all directions of Orochimaru, countless Uchiha Ryu blades came out all of a sudden coldly. Side by side, Orochimaru was tightly surrounded. In the hands of every Uchiha Ryu blade, there is a sharp sword. Orochimaru. Chi chi chi. The flowing blades surrounded by a circle, began to hold the tachi in their hands in unison, and stabbed Orochimaru mercilessly. What? The screams of Orochimaru continued for a long time. The tragic scene where Uchiha Itachi ravaged Kakashi appeared again. Kakashi can last for 3 days and 3 nights, but a rank like you can't do it for a week. Uchiha Ryuin has made a decision, and he will rush to the name of Orochimaru Sanin, which can't be less than Kakashi, otherwise, who are you looking down on? In the monthly reading space, it was lively for 6 days and 6 nights. In the end, Lu Ren's mental power was almost exhausted, so he had to stop the carnival. PFF'd. When Lu Ren released Orochimaru from the Yudu space, Orochimaru was just like Kakashi at that time, his whole body was empty, and he fell to the ground incomparably weak. Can't even get up. Then, what kind of terrifying illusion is that? Orochimaru seems to have lost his mind, and there is only one thought in his mind at this moment. He knew that he was in an unfavorable situation at the moment and wanted to fight back, but he couldn't move no matter what. Although he consumed almost no chakra, his spirit had almost collapsed, and he could not command his body at all. Without immediately falling into a state of unconsciousness, Orochimaru is already strong-willed. Amaterasu. At this time, Lu Ren began to ruthlessly cast this killer move on Orochimaru. Base. Under Lu Ren's pupil technique, Orochimaru's body began to burn with blazing black flames, and he immediately let out a tragic and powerless scream. If it was in normal times, Orochimaru would naturally use the Orochimaru substitute technique, using his substitute to block Lu Ren's black flame attack. To escape. But now Orochimaru has been tortured for 6 days and 6 nights in the Yudu space, and his spirit is almost collapsed, and he can't even perform such a simple ninjutsu. In this way, under the gaze of Lu Ren, Orochimaru continued to burn until it was completely burned. What Lu Ren didn't know was that when Orochimaru was burning his body with black flames, he had exhausted his last bit of consciousness, separated out a small white snake, and burrowed into the ground. Because Orochimaru's body was blocking the little snake, Lu Ren didn't notice it. But even so, Lu Ren didn't really think that he had killed Orochimaru. For him who had seen Hokage before, he knew how difficult Orochimaru was to kill. It can be said that if all the curse marks left by Orochimaru are not destroyed, Orochimaru can be resurrected at any time. As for the current time period, whether Orochimaru has left a curse mark on others, and how many, Lu Ren is unknown. But he felt that Orochimaru should not have been killed by himself so easily. Forget it, what if Orochimaru doesn't die? If he really doesn't die, I'll kill him once he comes out in the future. Lu Ren pursed his lips, clapped his hands, and left with the instant body technique. As if nothing had happened. Halfway through, Lu Ren and Kakashi joined together, and everyone talked about those strange people who were chasing them. Lu Ren only said that he was on his way ahead and did not meet those people. Kakashi and Kimura Kunin were puzzled, so they decided to go back to the village first, and then report the matter. About half an hour later, the three appeared in the Hokage office. They told Hiruzen Sarutobi exactly what happened in this line of work. Sarutobi Hizen's brows suddenly wrinkled like an old chrysanthemum blooming in late autumn. Things are getting more complicated. Kurikan took so much trouble, and it was really just to capture one of Konoha's Chunin. What purpose did they have? And Kakashi and the others were on their way back, and they were chasing after them, but after catching up, they left without doing anything. One head and too big. Even Nara Shikahisa, with a very high IQ, felt a mess and couldn't figure out any clues at all. Lord Hokage, we have to find a way to save Lin, we can't just leave it alone. No matter what Wyan's purpose is, but they have spent so much energy to capture Lin, they must have done a lot, and we can't let them succeed. Kakashi said to Sarutobi Hizen with a hint of anxiety. Kakashi, don't worry, we won't give up anyone in the village. Sarutobi Hizen reassured Kakashi, it's just that this is no small matter, and we need to take a long-term approach. Well, you guys go back first, let's discuss this matter first, and then decide how to deal with it. Sarutobi Hizen sent Kakashi and the others away with 3 or 2 sentences. But no one at the scene was a fool. Seeing the perfunctory appearance of Sarutobi Hizen, he knew that he could not have much hope in this matter. After all, it was an action to sneak into the mist. The difficulty is too great. Now Kakashi's only hope is his teacher Namikaze Minato. If there is anyone in Konoha who can save Rin Nohara now, there is only Minato Namikaze who has the technique of Flying Thunder God. Uchiha Madara Secret Base. The operation was successful. Nohara Rin has been captured back to Wuin, and they will seal the 3 tails into Nohara Rin's body immediately. A Baiju emerged from the ground and reported to Madara Uchiha. Madara Uchiha nodded with satisfaction. Yenshi, I understand. However, there was still a little accident in this matter. 5 of the 7 ninja swordsmen died in Konoha. According to the 2 people who escaped, there is another person in Konoha who can fly the Thunder God technique. Apart from Namikaze Minato, are there other people who can fly Thor? Madara Uchiha was very surprised. But soon, he waved his hand and disagreed. It doesn't matter, after I am resurrected, the Flying Thunder God technique is nothing, it can't hinder my big plan at all. Everything is according to the original plan. After coming out of the Hokage office, Lu Ren went to the Konoha Guard to report and started his daily patrol career. After the end, naturally, he went to the training ground to train physical skills, which was no different from ordinary. Lin's affairs have been completely left behind by Lu Ren. Even though he is already familiar with the trend of this matter and what will happen in the future, he has no intention of intervening in this matter. Kakashi, Rin, and Obito are just people who have nothing to do with Ryuin. As for Kakashi, as soon as he came out, he went to Minato Namikaze, and when he learned that Minato Namikaze was still on the battlefield and did not return, he fell into an anxious wait. It was not until the afternoon that Minato Namaifung returned to the village. Kakashi immediately told Minato Namikaze about Lin's accident, and Minato Namikaze was immediately taken aback. What, Lin was taken away by Wuin? When did it happen? Kakashi briefly explained the matter, and Nika's Minato suddenly stood up. It's not too late, I'll go and save Rin now. In Kakashi's eyes, there was a trace of excitement, a trace of gratitude, and a deep sense of shame and remorse. He also knew that doing so was putting the teacher in danger, being too impulsive and reckless, but he just lost Kakashi, who had just lost the soil, and he really couldn't control his mood. He couldn't lose Lin anymore. After all, the current Kakashi is still only a 12-year-old child. Even if he has reached the level of Sharingan in terms of cultivation, no matter how mature his mind is, there is still a slight deficiency. Namikaze Minato-sama, Hokage-sama, please come over. However, just when Namikaze Minato left, a man from Anbu appeared in front of Namikaze Minato. Minato Namikaze thought for a while, and without much hesitation, he followed the people from Anbu to the Hokage office. Minato, are you planning to go to Kurigakure to rescue Rin Nohara? Hiruzen Sarutobi glanced at Minato Namikaze. Without waiting for Minato Namaifung to answer, he directly added, this is not right, you should stay in Konoha and do not act without authorization. Lord Hokage, Lin is not only my student, she is also a ninja of Konoha. Now that I know that Lin was taken away by Wuin, how can I just sit back and ignore it? Seeing his and Sarutobi's attitude of resolutely stopping him, Minato Minoke's immediately panicked. Watergate, it's not that I don't want to save your students, it's just that this trip is too dangerous, don't act recklessly. Wuin definitely did a lot to catch Lin. I'm worried that it's a big trap. You are on the mission of Konoha's safety, and you shouldn't take risks easily. But I can't just watch my students die, right? Minato Nikas involuntarily raised his voice in desperation. Watergate, you have to correct your attitude. The village must always be put first. Always put the safety of the village first. Even if Lin is your student, in your heart, her weight cannot be higher than the safety of the village. You don't need to worry about this matter. I have my own opinion. I am Konoha's Hokage, and I will naturally be responsible for Konoha's ninjas. Okay, you can go down first, have a good rest, and recharge your batteries. I have more important tasks for you to do tomorrow. You must be calm and don't ruin the big events of the village because of small things. This is an order. Namikaze Minato was so abruptly stopped by Hiruzen Sarutobi. Not only did Sarutobi Hizen talk to Minato, but after Minato Nikas left, Hizen Sarutobi also specifically talked to Kakashi. Ask Kakashi not to let Minato Namikata take risks, and go to Kurikan to rescue Rin Nohara. In short, it is the indoctrination of the will of fire that is not life-threatening. I understand Hokage-sama. Kakashi withdrew from the Hokage office. But at this time his eyes were full of determination. Because Kakashi has made a decision. He wants to be alone, to rescue Rin Nohara. Hokage-sama is actually right. The reason why Konoha is now able to deter other countries in this war makes all countries not dare to be presumptuous, and the Yellow Flash is a great contributor. At present, the situation on Kurayan's side is not yet clear, and Nohara Rin doesn't know whether he is dead or alive. How could he let such an important Yellow Flash take such a risk? If there is any mishap, he is the sinner of the village. But it was getting late now, and Kakashi was exhausted after tossing around for a while. He planned to take a good night's repair and recharge his batteries. Get started the next day. It was not only Kakashi who was disturbed that night, but also the old thief Danzo. Root base. Is Orochimaru still unable to get in touch? One-armed man, Danzo paced back and forth in the base with a cane in one hand. On the surface, he didn't see anything, but there was a trace of anxiety in his heart. And a sense of unease. After Orochimaru went out for action in the afternoon, he never came back. Instead, Uchiha Ryurin returned to the village well. Danzo was very confused by this. Could it be that even Orochimaru is not the opponent of Uchiha Rukin? This is too much nonsense. That's 3 ninjas. But Orochimaru has never come back. What is the situation? Danzo felt really uncomfortable. Training course. Akai, I'm going back first, see you tomorrow. After 3 hours of training, Lu Ren said hello to Matekai, and then swaggered away. After returning to his room, he conducted another 2-hour meditation training. By this time, it was late at night, and the village was basically empty. At this time, Lu Ren took out the glass ball he had prepared a long time ago, used the telescope technique directly, and began to monitor the old thief Danzo. There is no other reason. Lu Ren intends to get rid of this old thief Danzo. The old thief managed to get away with Lu Ren last time, but he didn't know what to do. He even cooperated with Orochimaru once again and asked Orochimaru to deal with him. If it weren't for Lu Ren's 2 strokes, wouldn't it fall directly into the hands of Orochimaru? What would happen if it fell into the hands of Orochimaru? Lu Ren felt shudder just thinking about it. It was a more miserable thing than death. How could Lu Ren tolerate this kind of thing? Since Danzo is looking for death, Lu Ren doesn't mind fulfilling this old thief. The picture of the Danzo old thief anxiously waiting for the news of Orochimaru at the route was directly seen by Lu Ren using the telescope technique. Petey, do you really think you can sit back and relax if you don't shoot directly and find Orochimaru as a gun behind your back? The corner of Lu Ren's mouth could not help but evoke a sneer. Getting rid of Danzo must be eliminated. Since this old thief has taken a fancy to his own riding wheel, he will be in endless trouble in the future. Besides, Lu Ren does not allow a person who has a crooked mind on himself to live. However, the identity of the old thief Danzo is not simple. and Lu Ren naturally wants to kill this old thief quietly. It is best not to make any noise. There was an uproar in Konoha, which was not what Lu Ren wanted. But just now, there is such an opportunity. Isn't Danzo anxiously waiting for news from Orochimaru? Just enough to use it. With a thought, Lu Ren used the technique of Flying Thunder God, and the person appeared directly at the foot of the mountain behind Konoha. Transformation. With a slam, the original Ryu blade disappeared, but turned into the appearance of Orochimaru, and deliberately made it very weak. Then he staggered and started walking towards the secret experimental base of Orochimaru within the back mountain. Lu Ren had already confirmed it using the telescope technique, and Danzo had already sent people from the roots to watch him here in order to grasp the news of Orochimaru. As long as the flow blade appears, it will be discovered immediately. As expected by Lu Ren, when he came to the test base, suddenly, a man with a masked root appeared in front of him using the telekinesis technique. Master Orochimaru, Master Danzo has been waiting for you for a long time. The person at the root immediately knelt on the ground and said to Lu Ren. They didn't doubt Lu Ren's identity. After all, this place is a secret between Orochimaru and Danzo, and outsiders don't know it at all. That guy in Danzo, he has made me miserable. Lu Ren deliberately made a look of anger, grabbed the neck of the person who took the root, and drank coldly. Why didn't he tell me? That kid, the illusion will be so powerful. Master Orochimaru, I don't know the specific details. If there is any problem, you can talk to Master Danzo. The person at the root is neither humble nor arrogant, and his face is expressionless and authentic. What to talk about? My loss this time is huge. If you don't give me enough compensation, I won't have to talk to Danzo. Orochimaru deliberately said angrily. When Lu Ren pretended to be Orochimaru here, the news of Orochimaru's return was also reported to Danzo by the people at the root. Lord Danzo, Orochimaru is back. But looking at him, he seems to be seriously injured. In the root base, one of Danzang's most loyal horses, Shan Zongfang, reported the news just received to Danzang as soon as possible. What? Orochimaru is actually injured. Danzo was speechless in shock. That is one of the 3 Konoha shinobi, and it is famous in the entire ninja world. Don't say that it was his Danzo. Even the teacher of Orochimaru, the current 3rd generation of Sarutobi Hyjin, is not necessarily Orochimaru's opponent. Orochimaru is definitely the top superpower in the entire ninja world. But even such a master will be injured by Uchiha Rukin. The Uchiha Ryu blade is so terrifying. Could it be Orochimaru didn't fight Uchiha Ryuin, but had other accidents and was injured by others? This can also explain why Uchiha Rukin has returned to Konoha. Danzo thought to himself and found a reasonable explanation for himself. Lord Danzo, Orochimaru seems to be very angry. He keeps saying, Lord, you have hurt him. Yamazakata relayed the situation at the scene, Orochimaru's emotions and some remarks to Danzo. Danzo's brows suddenly wrinkled like an old chrysanthemum blooming in late autumn. Judging from the various reactions of Orochimaru, no matter what happened to the other party or what happened, it is definitely related to the task of capturing Uchiha Rukin this time. Let's go, I'll go and find out in person. Danzang couldn't hold back the anxiety and puzzlement in his heart any longer, and with a few personal retinues, he quietly went to the back mountain. Orochimaru, what happened? How could it be like this? Danzo looked at Orochimaru's embarrassed appearance, and the boss questioned for a while. The dying person, knowing so much, is it useful? Lu Ren smiled coldly. Danzang suddenly felt that something was wrong, and he was extremely vigilant and quickly took 2 steps back at the first time, retreating behind his entourage. Shan Zongfang and other people at the root are protected by the group in front of Danzo, looking at Lu Ren as if they are facing a big enemy. You're not Orochimaru, who are you? Danzo reacted at this time, and he stared at Lu Ren with one eye in shock and anger. Well, I'll let you die and understand. Lu Ren cancelled the transformation, revealing his original appearance. Uchiha Ryublade, why is it you? Danzo exclaimed in shock, almost glaring his eyes out. His face was full of disbelief. Uchiha Ryuin actually pretended to be Orochimaru, and he took the plan and led Danzo here. This shows what? This shows that the conspiracy between Danzo and Orochimaru has been completely leaked out. This is more shocking than killing Orochimaru. After all, this kind of thing is much harder than killing a person. Why did you appear here? Where is Orochimaru? He was killed by you. Danzo asked in a perplexing manner as he launched the 3 deadly attacks on the flow blade. All of this made Danzo feel collapsed. Hey, there's so much nonsense, die. Lu Ren snorted coldly, the pupils in his eyes turned, and he switched directly to the kaleidoscope riding wheel eye state, and used the Amaterasu trick directly at Danzang. However, the old thief Danzo has already suffered from the loss of this trick, so he is very cautious this time. When I heard Lu Ren's murderous words, regardless of whether Lu Ren was about to take action, he immediately launched a teleportation technique to escape. Swish! In the blink of an eye, Danzo was gone. Liu Ren's Amaterasu didn't have time to release it. Pete, you are so timid and afraid of death, and you want to be a Hokage even if you are such a useless fool. It's really funny. Lu Ren's face couldn't help showing a look of contempt. Kill him and cover the evacuation of Danzo-sama. At this time, Shan Zongfang raised his arms and shouted, and the root people who led the scene rushed towards Lu Ren. At the same time, Shan Zongfang also began to face Lu Ren and made a gesture, intending to use the secret technique of their mountain family to turn his heart against Lu Ren. This gesture, turn around, it's a pity that Lu Ren has seen Hokage, and he is so familiar with this secret technique that he can no longer be familiar with it. He simply ignores other people who rush up, and just stretches out his hand to Shan Zongfang. Shen Luo Tianzheng, an incomparably huge force instantly acted on Shan Zongfang's body, and Shan Zongfang's body shook suddenly and was overturned directly. This secret technique was naturally interrupted by Lu Ren. Buzz! Almost at the same time, an oil woman clansman also began to summon a large number of bugs, flying towards Lu Ren. I'll take care of you when the Danzo old thief is killed. Lu Ren said with a cold snort. Flying Thor. Swish. Lu Ren's whole person disappeared in place very strangely, as if he had never appeared before. Swish. Using the Flying Thunder God technique and Flying Thunder God kunai that had been left in the village, Lu Ren easily caught up with the old thief Danzo. Directly, a golden sword fell from the sky, blocking the way of Danzang. Originally, if you didn't provoke me, I didn't bother to pay attention to you, but since you provoke me and are courting death yourself, then I can only be rude. Lu Ren said with a gloomy expression. Killing the old man doesn't actually do you any good. On the contrary, letting the old man live will bring you the greatest benefits. Danzo also knew that he couldn't escape, so he simply didn't run away. Why not? How about the cooperation between the two of us? Since you are so forbearing in Konoha, you must have a plan. The old man has a high position in Konoha, and he still holds the roots in his hands. He can do many things for you. Sorry, I'm not interested. Lu Ren said coldly. Wind escape. Amaterasu. Danzo didn't have time to perform any action at all, and was interrupted by Lu Ren directly with Amaterasu. The old thief still wanted to use the instant body technique to dodge, but it was a pity that Lu Ren didn't give him a chance. Use Amaterasu to chase Danzo. How could this old thief escape? In a split second, Danzo fell to the ground and was burned to ashes by the flowing blade. And during this time period, Orochimaru has not transplanted the Sharoden arm to Danzo, so Danzo can't use Izanagi. There is only one life. To die is to die completely. Master Danzo. Master Danzo. At this time, Shan Zongfang and the others also used the instant body technique to chase after them. When they saw Danzo lying on the ground with most of their body burned, they were all dumbfounded. Such a scene is simply unacceptable. This old thief Danzo is dead, it's you below. Lu Ren didn't talk nonsense, he opened 4 doors and rushed to the root of the scene. After a short and dazzling battle, all the root people on the scene were basically killed by Lu Ren. Because the gap between the two sides is really big, these people from the roots didn't even have the opportunity to communicate, so they mercilessly died in the hands of Lu Ren. There are only 2 people left, the mountain stroke and the oily girl taking the roots. It's not that Lu Ren is soft-hearted towards Shan Zongfang, but it is still useful for Lu Ren to keep them. Danzo has a high position in Konoha, and his position in the village is no small matter. If he was killed so suddenly, it would definitely cause Konoha to shake. Konoha will definitely investigate Danzo's cause of death in detail. And after all the root people die in Danzang, the seal of the tongue curse planted by Danzang will disappear automatically, which means that they can say things about Danzang to the outside world. So how sincere are these rooted people to Danzo? Of course, there are die-hards who would rather die than sell Danzo, but there are also ninjas who quickly shake their beliefs like Saoi in the original book. This makes it difficult to ensure that the 3 generations will know about Danzo's temptation and calculation. This is indeed a hassle for Lu Ren. Therefore, Lu Ren left Shan Zongfang and the two to eliminate this trouble. Uchiha Ryuan, if you want to kill, kill, don't think that if you spare me, I will be grateful to you, and if I have the chance, I will definitely avenge Danzo-sama. Shan Zongfang glared at Lu Ren with both eyes, and shouted with resentment on his face, as if he really had an inseparable hatred with Lu Ren. You like to die for Tuanzang so much. Lu Ren was speechless. After the original novel, Yamanaka Kase died in order to protect Danzo when he escorted Danzo to the 5 Shadow Talks. Now again, even the seal of the Bane of the Tongue has disappeared, still so. Even the oily girl on the side was the same way, wishing to smash the flowing blade into tens of thousands of pieces. It seems that these two were really brainwashed by Danzo. However, this was not a problem for Lu Ren at all. He didn't bother to talk nonsense with Shan Zongfang and the two of them. He just turned his eyes and used illusions to control Shan Zongfang and Oil Maiden's roots. From now on, the two of you will follow my orders. Lu Ren said to Shan Zongfang. Yes, Lord Liuren. Shan Zongfang and Oil Girl Tugin responded respectfully. Danzo has just died now, and the seal of the root's tongue will disappear immediately, and the root must be in chaos at this moment. I want you to immediately gather all the people who know about me at the root. Whether it was the last time Danzang attacked me in the village, or this time Danzang and Orochimaru dealt with me. I'm waiting for you here. You bring all those people as fast as you can, and don't disturb the village. I don't care what method you use, if you don't want to come, just get rid of it. Yes, Lord Liuren. The two of Shan Zongfang took the lead and left. The Mountain Clan and the Oil Girl Clan are also big clans in Konoha. The Mountain Wind and Oil Girl Take Root are the absolute confidants of Danzo. They have a high status in the roots and are strong. The task that Lu Ren entrusted to them can be done very easily. After waiting in place for a long time, Shan Zongfang brought 8 people to Lu Ren's side. Lu Ren didn't talk nonsense, and also controlled them with illusion. Order them not to speak to anyone about themselves. Okay, clean up the traces here, and then do what you want. Lu Ren casually instructed the people in front of him. After finishing everything, Lu Ren quietly went home and went to sleep, as if nothing had happened. Danzo's death soon caused an uproar in Konoha, especially those high-level executives such as Sarutobi Hizen, the 2 Hokage advisors, and the patriarchs of various clans, who were even more shocked. Each one has an unreal feeling. Those ordinary villagers can say that most of them have never dealt with Danzang, or even seen Danzang. But these high-level people are too familiar with Danzo. It can be said without hesitation that this old thief is the second in command in Konoha. This person is actually dead. What's worse, they don't even know how and where Danzo died. Even if it wasn't for the curse of the tongue, they wouldn't even know that Danzo was dead. Amaterasu burned the Danzo so clean that there was no slag left, so naturally he couldn't find it at all. A person with such power in Konoha was killed so quietly, which made his and Sarutobi feel a kind of suffocation. No matter who the shot was, since Danzo could be removed so quietly, what about them? How much confidence do you have in the face of the mastermind behind the scenes? Will it be him? Sarutobi Hizen frowned, and a thought flashed in his mind. A person who had been haunting him for a long time emerged. If it was that person, he would definitely have this ability, but Sarutobi Hizen is not sure if that person did it. But now, Sarutobi Hizen felt that this matter could no longer be concealed. Now that Danzo has died like this in a cryptic way, if one day he was killed by someone like Sarutobi Hizen, wouldn't this secret be brought into the coffin by him? Everyone, there is one thing I need to tell you. Sarutobi Hizen looked at the absolute high-ranking people in the office, and slowly opened his mouth with a solemn expression. In our Konoha village, there has always been a mysterious master hidden. When the master first appeared, Zishui led the team to carry out the task of finding the body with soil. When they returned to the village, they met Zhu Lihan, a man with 5 tails. That mysterious master shot secretly and sealed the 5-tailed human Zuli who turned into a half-tailed beast. The Minato and his wife know this. The second shot was when Onogi led someone to raid my Konoha half a year ago. At that time, someone secretly shot and suppressed Onogi. The third shot is the invasion of Wuin today. Actually, I didn't tell you that the 7 people of Wion's ninja swords were killed by that mysterious master. Sarutobi Hision's words made everyone in the office very moved. Sealing the half-tailed animalized human Zuli, suppressing Onogi, and killing 5 ninja swords and 7 people, this strength feels suffocating when you think about it. Even Sarutobi Hision himself could not do such a thing. Even Konoha's strongest Nika's Minato can't do it. Konoha, is there such a strong person hidden? Lord Hokage, have you never known who the other party is for such a long time? Nara Shikahisa asked in surprise. Seeing Hiruzen, Sarutobi shook his head in denial. He pondered and asked, so does Hokage-sama have any suspicions? No, every time this person makes a shot, he makes a secret shot without leaving any traces. The atmosphere in Hokage's office was a little heavy. Originally, Danzo's death was already a mess, and now the mysterious man who was exposed by Hiruzen Sarutobi was even more chaotic. No one knows if Danzo's death has anything to do with that mysterious person. But from now on, whether it's Danzo's death or the identity of that mysterious person, Konoha will intensify his investigation. Konoha, who was calm on the surface, was actually surging behind the scenes. In the face of such a major event, the fact that Nohara Rin was taken away by Kurigakura seemed to be less important all of a sudden. No one even noticed that Kakashi quietly left the village alone. After killing Danzo, Lu Ren's life suddenly returned to peace. Thanks to the fact that he controlled all the root people who knew about him with the Wheel Eye, his information was not leaked out in the slightest. Konoha looked upside down and found no clues. Of course, it was about Uchiha Rukin. But some other things done by the root were soon exposed under Konoha's comprehensive investigation. Among them, the collusion between Danzo and Orochimaru. Orochimaru's secret laboratory was also exposed. While Konoha executives were shocked by this, they were also caught off guard that Orochimaru was also missing. And the timing of Orochimaru's disappearance was exactly the same timing as Danzo's disappearance. According to the confession made by the members of the Gen Force, at this time, the regiment happened to be conspiring with Orochimaru. But what is the specific conspiracy? Because the control of Sharingan is about grabbing the flowing blade, so no one has disclosed it. This makes things clearer and more confusing at the same time. It has become clear, because compared to the previous confusion, the disappearance of Danzo and Orochimaru has become traceable, obviously because of their conspiracy. It is very likely that the death of Danzo was caused by Orochimaru. Orochimaru slipped away after killing Danzo. This possibility is not small. After all, the senior officials of Konoha knew about Orochimaru's recent state. It is confusing because more mysteries have emerged, that is, what was the conspiracy between Orochimaru and Danzo? On the contrary, the suspicion of the hidden mysterious person was suddenly reduced to a minimum. Yes, no one suspects me of such a mess. Lu Ren used the telescope technique to watch the whole investigation of this matter, and found that after the final incident evolved to the trace of Orochimaru, he was completely relieved. Orochimaru still doesn't know whether to live or die. Lu Ren started to patrol at work with peace of mind. He heard a lot of comments about Danzo. After all, such a big thing happened at the root, and he couldn't hide it. However, the disappearance of Orochimaru was temporarily concealed by Konoha, otherwise, Konoha would definitely be in a great shock. Compared with the roots hidden in the dark, the influence of Orochimaru in Konoha is too great. After all, it was one of the 3 ninjas anyway. It's been an eventful autumn. Lu Ren couldn't help shaking his head and sighed, without the slightest awareness of being the culprit behind the scenes. Continue to patrol Konoha casually. 2 hours later, Rairin started to switch defenses with others, and temporarily returned to the Konoha guard for a rest. How is that possible? Is it fake? That guy Kakashi actually turned on the kaleidoscope writing wheel. This is absolutely impossible. He is not from Uchiha, how can he complete the evolution of Sharingan? We Uchiha clan only have Shisui to open the kaleidoscope writing wheel. Which fool made this rumor? It's too nonsense, isn't it? Just after returning to the headquarters of the guard, Lu Ren heard an incredible noise inside. Some were shocked, some were angry, some were incredulous. Has this guy Kakashi turned on the kaleidoscope writing wheel? Lu Ren was slightly surprised, but soon recovered his calm, not as surprised as the others. After all, he already knew the plot and knew what was going to happen. After Nohara Rin was taken away by Wuin, she was sealed by Wuin with the three tails in her body, and was driven back to the village by Wuin. In order to prevent the three tails from making trouble in Konoha, Rin Nohara deliberately died at the hands of Kakashi. This tragic scene just happened to be seen by Obito, and Obito was greatly stimulated to open the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and even Kakashi's kaleidoscope was simultaneously opened. Kakashi opened a kaleidoscope, which means that Obito also opened a kaleidoscope, and he should have officially become Madara's chess piece by now. Lu Ren knew what he knew, but thought it was a sad story and silently sighed a few words in his heart, without any other thoughts. After all, these things have nothing to do with Uchiha Rukin at all. He goes to get off work, leaves work, and checks in as usual every day, at ease and at ease. A year went by in a flash. In the past year, Lu Ren has undergone daily uninterrupted and hard training, and the amount of chakra in his body has now completely reached the level of Shangnin. Whether it is the use of the reincarnation eye, or the use of pupil techniques such as Amaterasu and Yudu, it is a higher level than the original. Looking at the entire ninja world, Lu Ren is already a well-deserved invincible existence. As for the sign in reward, Lu Ren was very happy that the pupil skills Shinwei and Bitianshin he had been thinking about had finally arrived. In addition, Lu Ren also received the reward of 5 attributes of Chuck, Konoha basically all ninjutsu, sealing, taijutsu, illusion, basically there is no Lu Ren cannot. Compared with a year ago, his current strength has taken a qualitative leap again. And in this year, Konoha also happened several major events. The first is the abdication of the third generation of eyes, and Minato Namikaze is widely expected to be elected as the fourth generation of Hokage. The difference from the original is that because of the bizarre disappearance of Orochimaru, there is not even a single person to compete with Minato Namikaze, and the succession of Minato Namikaze will not be too smooth. Another major event is that the position of the head of the root group, Danzo, is held by the original senior advisor, Mito Gate Yan. Mito Menyon can almost be regarded as a replica of Danzo. Whether it is qualifications, experience, identity, or philosophy, it can be said that they are highly consistent. The three people, Mito Menyon, Chuan Kaharu and Danzo, were simply wearing a pair of trousers. The third major event, the rise of a peace-loving ninja organization in Yurin village, named Shao, is already quite famous in the ninja world. They are active in these turbulent times, and their aim is to lobby and persuade the villages in the war to give up the war and maintain the peace. Compared with these things, the frictions and wars between Konoha and Karayan are already insignificant. As for the death of Danzo and the disappearance of Orochimaru a year ago, Konoha has never been able to find out what happened, and it can only be left to nothing. No trouble fell on Rukin's head. Rainy village. It was raining non-stop, the sky was dark, and there was not even a shred of sunlight to be seen. Although it was broad daylight, it made people feel extremely depressed. On the muddy road, there was a group of people running in the rain, led by 3 people, one with yellow hair, one with red hair, and one with blue hair. They are the 3 leaders of Akatsuki's organization, Yahiko, Nagato and Konan. Just now, Shao organization received news that a village was affected by the war and was destroyed. They immediately rushed to support. Stop war and keep peace. Just after the people of the Shao organization flashed past, a space vortex suddenly appeared on the street where they just flew. A person wrapped in a feces white face suddenly appeared from the whirlpool. At the same time, a half-black and half-white weirdo with pitcher plants suddenly appeared under the ground. There is no doubt that it was Uchiha Obito, who began to be active in the ninja world in the name of Uchiha Madara, and his good partner Black and White. Nagato and the others have gone to maintain peace again, and their beliefs are really firm. Heiju looked at the backs of Akatsuki's group and said to Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito didn't answer, but the only eye that was exposed seemed to show a trace of unhappiness. Over the past year, Obito, according to Madara Uchiha's instructions, was responsible for guiding Nagato, the owner of the Eye of Reincarnation, to facilitate the completion of the Eye of the Moon plan. But the effect is not ideal. Nagato is too naive, No, to be precise, the people in Akatsuki's organization are too naive, they are like fools. How can there be any peace in this world? Obito, you shouldn't make decisions without authorization and change Mr. Ban's plan. Black and White said with some dissatisfaction. According to Madara's plan, Nagato was cheated and deceived, but Obito made his own decisions and told the truth directly to Nagato. As a result, they were regarded as liars by Yahiko and the others, and the progress was very slow. It's okay. Obito's voice was cold and expressionless. When they find out that everything they believe in is just a joke, they will agree with me. You already have a plan. Black and White turned to look at Obito in surprise. Of course, otherwise, why do you think I let Karayan continue to fight Konoha? Obito said confidently. Haha, it sounds like a great plan, I'll really wait and see. Haiheiju laughed. Konoha, hospital, wow, wow, wow. The loud and airy baby cries echoed incessantly, and even with the door closed, it spread far and wide in the corridor. In the corridor outside, there are already many people of the Uchiha clan, because this day is the day when the son of Uchiha Fuyu, the head of the Uchiha clan, was born. This is a big day for the Uchiha family. Born. Patriarch, was born. Listen to this voice, very energetic. The Uchiha clansmen outside were all excited, as if there was a big happy event in their own family. Call. Uchiha Fuyu also breathed a sigh of relief. Beside Uchiha Fuyu, Uchiha Itachi, who has always been expressionless, also rarely showed excitement. Squeak. The door was pushed open, and a nurse appeared in front of everyone with a baby in his arms. Patriarch Uchiha, congratulations, you are a young master. Where's Makoto, how is she? Uchiha Fuyu carefully took the baby, and then asked the nurse a little worried. Mrs. is also very good. Thanks a lot, Fuyu said happily. Second pillar is born. Uchiha Rairan stood in the crowd, looking at the baby in Uchiha Fuyu's arms, unable to tell what he was feeling at the moment. For a Naruto fan in a previous life, being able to see Urzuzi when he was just born does have an extraordinary meaning. I can be regarded as witnessing history. Lu Ren couldn't help but think. Fuyu held Urzuzi and coaxed for a while, and then went into the delivery room with Uchiha Itachi to visit Uchiha Makoto. As for the others, they were naturally guarded outside. Makoto, look at our son, his eyes and chin are much like you. Uchiha Fuyu put the second pillar in front of Makoto and said with a smile. Uchiha Makoto also laughed with tears in her eyes, teased Urzuzi for a while, and said, Fuyu, give our son a name. Just call it Sasuke Uchiha. Fuyu thought for a while and said, okay, our son is called Sasuke. Uchiha Makoto had no objection. She stroked Sasuke's little face and said to Uchiha Itachi, Itachi, this is your younger brother, you must protect your younger brother in the future. Don't worry, mother, I will definitely protect my brother. Uchiha Itachi vowed, even if it costs my life. If Lu Ren was in the ward and heard these words, he would definitely stop Uchiha Itachi. The flag can't be messed up. Very dangerous. Now that it has been confirmed that Sasuke Uchiha was born smoothly, the mother and son are safe, and the Uchiha clan who were guarding outside quickly returned. Rairan also returned to his job and continued his patrol days in Konoha. Low-key as always. Unconsciously, Lu Ren patrolled the Konoha archives. System, sign in here. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in and getting 1,000 detonating charms. The sound of the sign in success sounded in my mind. Hey, it's the detonating talisman again. There must be hundreds of thousands of detonating talismans in my system space, right? Lu Ren shook his head, feeling a bit tasteless and a pity to abandon it. With his current strength, does he still need something like a detonating talisman? Unless it is used in conjunction with the forbidden technique of mutual multiplication detonating talisman. In other cases, any tricks of the flowing edge are more convenient than the explosive talisman. Talk is better than nothing. Lu Ren shrugged his shoulders, continued to walk, and circled the village. In the afternoon, it was the same as before. After dinner, I had some training with Matekai. After the evening was over, I returned to Uchiha's clan. Attended a grand banquet. The purpose of the banquet is naturally to celebrate the birth of the patriarch's son, so it goes without saying that it is lively and lively. Lu Ren, go to the Hokage building, the village has a task for you. After just a few days of salted fish, Uchiha Liu Ren suddenly received such a message. Understood. Liu Ren naturally did not refuse, and rushed to the Hokage building directly. In my heart, I was thinking, could it be that the war has changed again, and the manpower is not enough, so I need the manpower of the Konoha guards to go to the battlefield for support or logistics. During the period of the Third World War, Liu Ren has done this kind of thing several times, so it is not surprising. After arriving at the Hokage office, after a short wait, a total of 5 members of the Dark Army and 3 members of the Konoha Guard came to assemble one after another. After everyone gathered, Hokage Wave Wind Minato began to tell everyone about the mission this time. A few days ago, a peaceful organization named Shao came to Konoha, hoping that their organization could mediate the war between Konoha and Korean. We didn't take this matter to heart at first, but today there has been news from Korean that they are willing to accept the mediation of the Shao organization and promised to negotiate a truce with us. As soon as these words came out, everyone including Liu Ren felt very surprised. The Shao organization is just a non-governmental organization of Yuyan. To be honest, when Konoha first received the mediation application from Akatsuki, he was very dismissive. Does this Shao really consider himself a unit? But who would have thought that Wuin actually agreed to the mediation of the Akatsuki organization? However, since Kuriuki agreed, Konoha is naturally very happy. In fact, Konoha has already sent a truce signal to Koreac many times over the past year. Nehi Wuin ignored it at all. Now is a great opportunity. Namikaze Minato is naturally not to be missed. Since Wuin has agreed to the mediation of the Shao organization, we Konoha naturally have no reason not to agree. I decided to accept the mediation of the Shao organization, go to Yuyan village, and discuss the truce with Wuin. Now, go. With the order of Minato, the 8 people, including Liu Ren, without any hesitation, directly acted as the guards of Minato and rushed to Yuyan village. Of course, with the strength of Namikaze Minato, you don't need the protection of so many people, but this is a negotiation between the 2 villages and the battle naturally cannot be weak. The cards that shadow of a village should have must be arranged neatly. This is a matter of face and cannot be sloppy. At the moment, the group followed Namikaze Minato out of Konoha and hurried through the mountains and forests. Their destination this time was an unnamed barren mountain on the border of Yuyan. This place does not belong to Konoha, nor does it belong to Kurigakushi. It is the best place to negotiate with Kurigakushi. While Liu Ren absent-mindedly followed everyone on his way, he couldn't help thinking to himself. I don't know if I can come across a good sign in location this time. Lord Hokage, we have always wanted to truce with Korean, but Korean has always ignored it. Now they suddenly accept Akatsuki's mediation. Could this be a trap? On the way, someone from Anbu raised his own question. According to our intelligence, the Shao organization is indeed a peace-loving organization, and their consistent aim is to use communication and exchanges to eliminate wars, not through force. Their reputation is still very good, and the place of this negotiation is not in the fog, but in the rain. I think you can still look forward to it. What's more, 5 of Korean's ninja swordsman group died a year ago, and their strength has also been greatly damaged. Even if there is a real trap, we don't have to worry about it. Namikaze Minato is confident. When the others heard it, their hearts were determined. Is that true? With the power of the yellow flash, can Hikushi be able to hurt Hokage-sama? But at this moment, Minato Namikawa and the others suddenly saw that a vortex appeared in the space ahead. In the vortex flickering, a person wearing a strange mask with only one eye exposed appeared in front of them. Minato Namikaze and the others all stopped subconsciously, looking at the person blocking their way in front of them with great vigilance. Although they don't know who this person is, most of them are not good people. With soil, only Liu Ren suddenly recognized who the person was coming from, and because of this, he didn't quite understand, what was he going to do with Obito running out? Who are you? Why are you blocking our way? Namikaze Minato also stared at Uchiha Obito with a dignified expression. At this time, everyone felt that something was wrong. They had just agreed to wooing for peace talks, and they were robbed on the way. Who would believe that there was no conspiracy in this peace negotiation? Don't be nervous, I won't kill you, save your life first, I'm still useful. Obito's incomparably thick and emotionless voice sounded like a machine. The expressions of the people at the scene changed suddenly, and they were really shocked and angry. This masked man is too arrogant, right? In front of the yellow flash and so many Anbu, I dare to say such a big thing. Protect Hokage-sama. The captain of the guards gave an order, and everyone moved quickly, protecting Minato Namikaze behind them. Uchiha Obito didn't speak, as if all these people in front of him didn't exist. He took care of himself and walked towards Minato Namifung step by step. Bold, the captain of the guards shouted angrily, and without hesitation, took out a kunai, shook his hand and shot at Uchiha Obito. Chi. Pieces of kunai attack surrounded Obito to Tuan. However, Obito seemed to have not seen it at all. Without dodging or evading, he was still walking forward so calmly. The speed of kunai was so fast, those kunai pierced Obito's body in the blink of an eye. Just as the guards were stunned for a while, feeling that this mysteriously arrogant guy was so easy to deal with, their eyes suddenly widened, revealing an incredible look. Those kunai stabbed into Obito's body, but they didn't cause any harm to Obito, and actually penetrated directly from Obito's body. Hit the ground. Obito seems to be just a phantom. What's the matter? Have we fallen into illusion long ago? Everyone immediately felt a little flustered, and sweat dripped from their foreheads. They had never seen such a situation before. Swish. When everyone was nervous, a vortex appeared directly in front of Obito, and the person disappeared so strangely. What about people? What kind of ninjutsu is this? This is not ninjutsu, this should be pupil jutsu, right? Didn't you see his eyes? That's Shakers. Everyone at the scene was shocked and talked a lot, looking around for Obito's whereabouts, but they had no clue at all. While the panic was spreading, Obito's figure suddenly appeared behind a person from Anbu, and lightly placed his hand on that person's shoulder. Be careful, the others exclaimed. The person from Anbu immediately wanted to start the teleportation technique, but it didn't work at all. His whole person was actually sucked into the vortex of space by Obito. Completely disappeared. This is space pupil technique. You all spread out. Namikaze Minato's expression was extremely serious, and he gave orders to everyone in a deep voice. In the face of this strange space pupil technique, ordinary ninjutsu can't play any role at all. Lord Hokage, this person is too dangerous. Disperse all, this is an order. Minato Namikaze shouted at the crowd again without hesitation. Everyone in the guards also knew that the strength of this masked man was too strange, and they couldn't be of much help at all. If you want to deal with him, I am afraid that only Hokage-sama can give it a try. The people in the guards moved away from each other. Namikaze Minato began to find a kunai, and Obito also took out an iron chain directly from the Kamui space. After a simple confrontation between the two sides, they didn't know who moved first, and the two rushed towards each other almost in no particular order. They collided in the blink of an eye. The kunai in Minato Namikaze's hand stabbed Obito fiercely. The chain in Obito's hand also swept towards Minato Namifung. Namikaze Minato dodged Obito's iron chain on one side of his body, but Obito didn't dodge it at all, letting Namikaze Minato's kunai pierce his body. Passed directly through his body. Sure enough, it's like this again. Minato shrank slightly, his expression extremely solemn. Snapped. Minato Namikaze's hand had just passed through Obito's body when he was caught by Obito's hand. At this time, the corner of Obito's mouth behind the mask evoked a chuckle, and the Shinwei pupil technique unfolded, and he was about to inhale Minato Namika into the Shinwei space. Swish. But at this moment, the wave of Minato in front of him suddenly disappeared, and suddenly appeared in another place. Flying Thunder God. Obito was stunned. As a student of Namikaze Minato, he naturally knew the stunts that made this Namikaze famous, but he never imagined that Flying Thunder God would be able to withstand even divine power. This is too much nonsense, right? As expected of the yellow flash that is famous in the ninja world. Obito then smiled, full of admiration. On the other hand, Namikaze Minato did not dare to be careless at all, and even felt an unprecedented pressure. He has been in the ninja world for so long, and this is the first time he has encountered such a strange enemy. If he hadn't used Fei Lei Shen just now, he would have almost been sucked in by the other party. But, in any case, Flying Thor works, which is also good news. Namikaze Minato rushed towards Obito once again and confronted Obito. The speed of both sides was extremely fast, and they were dazzled in the blink of an eye. Obito has a blur, and there is space transfer. Minato Namikaze has a super high fighting awareness and flying thunder gods. Neither side can do anything for the time being. Swish. During the fierce battle, Namikaze Minato once again shot a kunai at Uchiha Obito. Uchiha Obito didn't pay attention, and rushed to Minato Namikaze with an iron chain, trying to use his virtual advantage to lock Minato Namikaze. But just when the iron chain with soil was about to be tied to Minato Namikaze suddenly disappeared. His figure appeared behind Obito. It is the second section of Fei Lei Shen of Namikaze Minato. When Obito is attacking, there is no way to virtualize, so at this moment, Obito is in a solid state. Not good. Obito screamed in his heart that it was not good, and was about to virtualize, but it was already too late. Boom. A spiral pill pressed directly on Obito's body from behind, knocking Obito's entire body to the ground. Flying Thunder God Second Dan, really amazing. Even though he had seen Hokage long ago, but now seeing Minato Namikaze use the second stage of Flying Thunder God with his own eyes, Rairin couldn't help but be amazed in his heart. Namikaze Minato's fighting consciousness and battlefield awareness are really not comparable to ordinary people. In such a short period of time, he was able to come up with a trick like Flying Thunder God Second Dan, which is called a genius. Hateful. Obito got up from the ground, really shocked and angry. He never imagined that even after possessing such a powerful pupil technique as Shinwei, he would still not be an opponent of Minato Namika. Before that, Obito had always subconsciously believed that he could traverse the entire ninja world. I didn't expect to suffer such a big loss so quickly. I've said it long ago. Namikaze Minato is not that simple. At this time, another voice that was extremely low, as if someone covered his throat, rang out. Everyone at the scene was shocked. The other party, there is actually a helper. Immediately, they looked around vigilantly and nervously, and their expressions suddenly changed. I saw a pair of hands stretched out from the ground at an unknown time, and grabbed the feet of Minato Ninokage so tightly. Ka ka ka. At the same time, there was also a branch in the ground like a poisonous snake, winding up along the body of Minato Namikaze, tying Minato Namikaze together. Wu would escape. Everyone was dumbfounded. They couldn't believe their eyes. In the ninja world, how could there be anyone who could use the wood-done ninjutsu? Gollum. In the midst of this earth-shattering change, a strange guy with a pitcher plant on his head, half black and half white, emerged from the ground. The wooden branch on Namikaze Minato was connected to this strange guy. Obviously, this strange guy used the wooden squat to sneak attack and caught Namikaze Minato. Black and white absolutely. When the others were stunned, Lu Ren recognized this mysterious person at a glance. HMPH, I don't need your help, can't I use Mu-dun? Obito was very dissatisfied with Heiju's help. At this time, he also stretched out his hand towards Minato, and there were also wooden branches on his body. Like many tentacles, he entangled Minato Namikaze and pulled Minato Namikaze in front of him. At this time, Obito, who was still wearing Bai Juafei, could use Mu-dun as he wanted. Lord Hokage, let go of Hokage-sama. Surrounded by exclamations of shock and anger, Obito snorted coldly, and turned the writing wheel in his pupils. Namikaze Minato suddenly became dazed for a while, and then regained clarity, but at this moment, Namikaze Minato gave people a different feeling. Stop them, but don't kill them, it's still useful for me to keep them. Obito said casually to Minato Namikaze. Yes, like Obito's loyal subordinate, Namikaze Minato answered without hesitation. Whoosh. Then he launched the instant body technique and rushed towards the ninjas of Konoha. There is no doubt about the strength of Namikaze Minato, and with the assistance of Obito and Heiju, everyone on the scene was knocked to the ground in no time. Including Flow Blade. Of course, with Lu Ren's ability, even if everyone on the scene added up, he would not be his opponent, but Lu Ren did not do this. Although Rairin didn't know what conspiracy Obito had, it seemed that he was trying to control Minato Ninokage and the others to do something. During this period, maybe he will bring Namikaze Minato and the others back to the secret base under the Canopy Bridge. Isn't that a new check-in location? If you sign in then, I don't know what kind of rewards you will get. Thinking about it, Lu Ren couldn't help but feel a little excited. Now all the places that can be signed in Konoha have been signed by Lu Ren, and he is still extremely eager to find a new sign in place. And the base under the Shinwu Pai Bridge is the place where the senile plaques used to hide, the current base camp of Obito, as well as the outsider golems, the 100,000 Baiju, etc. In such a special place, there must be a lot of rewards. Flowing Blade is looking forward to it. When these thoughts flashed in his mind, Obito had already applied illusions to all Konoha ninjas to control them. Lu Ren thought about it for a while, and directly preset a pupil technique. If he is caught in the illusion of Sharingan, he will use another god to cancel the illusion directly. In Hokage's setting, Bishin God is the strongest illusion, and there is no illusion level that can compare to Bishin God. Even if Obito used a kaleidoscope to cast an illusion on Ryokan, Ryu Blade could easily be dispelled by other gods. This is no problem. By the way, Liuren's Byatean Divine Eye technique is a reward from the system, which is different from Zishui's Byatean Divine Eye technique. The other gods of Liuren, the cooldown time is only 1 day. This is also the reason why the Flow Blade is so uncomfortable to use. It's your turn. Just after presetting the pupil technique, Obito came to Lu Ren's side, grabbed Lu Ren's collar, and lifted Lu Ren up. Then he roughly took off Ryuren's sunglasses. Then Obito's eyes looked straight at Lu Ren's eyes, and when the riding wheel turned around, Lu Ren was immediately struck by Obito's illusion. But it was also at that moment, when Lu Ren's preset Bitianshan activated, instantly lifted Obito's illusion and returned to normal. Whether it was Obito or Black and White Ju on one side, none of them noticed this. In the blink of an eye, everyone on the scene was brought under control. Transformation. Obito also quickly formed seals with both hands, and suddenly, he turned into a Konoha ninja and mixed in with Konoha's team. You're really looking for trouble. Just use the transformation technique to become Minato Namikaze. Why don't you control Minato Namikaze so much? Black and White couldn't help but complain on the side. What do you know? Only Minato, who has performed the Flying Thunder God technique, is more convincing. Namikaze Minato has an excellent reputation in the ninja world, and even his opponents admire him. If you suddenly do something bad, it is very likely that people will suspect that someone is pretending to be Namikaze Minato. But if Namikaze Minato used the Flying Thunder God technique, then it would become an ironclad fact, and no one would doubt it. After all, in the entire ninja world, except for Namikaze Minato, no one else will use Flying Thunder God. Flying Thunder God. Konoha seems to have another mysterious person who can also fly Thunder God. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is a secret, and no one but us knows about it. Black and White absolutely nodded and said in agreement. A year ago, the group of 7 ninja swordsmen were killed 5 people in Konoha, and the only 2 people left went to Korayan, and reported the incident in detail to Yagura, the 4th generation of Mizukage. At that time, Utaki Yakura was already under the control of Uchiha Madara. No matter what happened, reporting it to Utaki Yakura was equivalent to reporting it to Uchiha Madara. So Black and White Ju and Obito also knew about this. Heiju even investigated this matter, but he didn't find any clues at all, because even Konoha himself didn't know the existence of this person. Just leave the next thing to me, don't show your face. After Obito explained to Black and White, he then controlled Minato Nikas and his group to continue on their way. Under the leadership of Obito, the figures of everyone soon appeared on an unnamed barren mountain on the Yuyan border. On the mountainside, a group of people were already waiting there. After Lu Ren glanced at it, he found that the group of people was actually the Kurigakura ninja headed by the 4th generation Mizukage Godachibana Yagura. There are also people organized by 3 Akatsuki, Yahiko, Konan and Nagato. Mist hidden. Akatsuki. Isn't this the peace negotiation that Namikaze Minato said? Lu Ren was speechless. He had known for a long time that after Uchiha Madara's death, Go-Tachibana Yakura was already controlled by Uchiha Obito. Now even Neifeng Minato has been controlled by Obito, which means that both sides of the peace negotiation are actually Obito's pawns. So what do you want to do with the soil? After thinking for a while, Lu Ren glanced at Nagato's body. Could it be that the purpose of Obito's trip was Nagato? I'm afraid this is the only explanation. And to sort out the plot of the original Hokage, although Nagato's blackening came from the hands of Hanzo and Danzo, there is also a shadow of Obito behind it. Lord Hokage, I am Yahiko, Akatsuki's leader. I am glad that you can accept our mediation. I sincerely hope that Konoha and Kurigakushi can understand each other through this communication, end the war between you, and bring benefits to the people of the two villages. Come to peace. As the mediator, Yahiko ran over very politely to greet Minato Namikaze and introduce himself. Then Yahiko, Nagato and the others, along with Namikaze Minato, came to the opposite of Kurigakura Ninja. Lord Hokage, Lord Mizukage, thank you two adults for showing us this face, and willing to accept our mediation. After all the ninjas of Konoha and Kurigaku were in place, Yahiko wanted to act as a middleman and conduct formal mediation. But he was only halfway through when he was interrupted by Minato Namikaze with an indifferent expression. Okay, stop talking nonsense, your mission has been completed. Chapter 31. Following Minato's words, all the people he brought with him suddenly drew out their weapons and prepared for a fight. Swish swish. At the same time, one after another Konoha ninja continued to use the shunshu technique to fall from the sky and appeared behind Namikaze Minato. Looking around, there are dozens of them. Obito is making a mess. Where did so many Konoha ninjas come from? Lu Ren was speechless. Did Obito control so many Konoha ninjas unknowingly? Lord Hokage, you. Yahiko was stunned. This scene was too unexpected for him. Originally, he was delighted that Hokage agreed to his mediation, but who would have thought that Hokage would actually use him? The other party did not intend to negotiate peacefully at all, but planned to use this opportunity to get rid of the fog-hidden water shadow. No way, how could Hokage-sama be so insidious? Namaifung Minato, I knew that you scumbag wouldn't be so honest. You want to take this opportunity to get rid of me. Ha ha ha, I think the same as you. After seeing this battle, Yakura, the fourth generation of Mesui Tachibana, also sneered. Swish swish. With this sneer from Goji Tachibana Yakura, behind him, like dumplings, many ninjas from the sky fell from the sky. Lord Shuiying, even you. Yahiko couldn't accept all of this at all. Hokage used him to get rid of Mizukage, but Mizukage had the same idea as Hokage. The two of them didn't plan to have any peace talks from the beginning, they just wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to get rid of the other side. Lord Hokage, Lord Mizukage, hurry up and stop the war between you. Do you know how many people will be displaced by the war between your two big villages? How many families will be destroyed and how many will be orphaned? Do you know the pain caused by war? Why create war? Why can't we live in peace? Even at this time, Yahiko still did not give up, and still persuaded Hokage and Mizukage firmly. It's naive. If there is no war, will Konoha become the first ninja village? Will the ninja world know the name of my yellow flash? Will you know the name of the demigod of your Sanshoyu Hanzo? Everything about ninjas is obtained through war. There is no so-called peace in this world. Namikaze Minato said disdainfully. Then his eyes stared at Yutaki Yakura opposite him, with a murderous look on his face. Today, we are going to take Mizuyage's life. Lord Hokage, where is Akatsuki? Obito asked at the right time. Why don't you ask? If you kill them together, you can't let one go. Minato Namikaze said icy coldly. Namaifung Minato, why don't we kill these people who get in the way first, then let's fight for life and death. So that we won't fight later and they will run away. Tachibana Yakura also made a proposal with a blank face. Yahiko and Nagato were all stunned, their eyes widened, and their faces became extremely pale. They only felt that the beliefs they had always believed in had shattered at this moment. Minato Namikaze agreed without hesitation. The faces of Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan changed wildly. Hokage, Mizukage, and the elite troops brought by both sides, let alone three of them, even if all the people from Akatsuki's organization came, there would be no way to survive. Is this the truth of this world? What we have always believed in, turned out to be a joke. Yahiko's face was pale, and he muttered to himself in shock. Nagato, Konan, and the others were the same, with boundless self-deprecation and unwillingness in their hearts, and it was only at this moment that they realized how naive they were. It's just a pity that they lost their lives because of their childishness. It turns out that these few people from the Shao organization are really your real goals. At this serious moment, a voice suddenly rang out. I saw a young man wearing a Konoha guard costume on Konoha's side, looking at another Konoha Anbu person and opening his mouth. Swish. The eyes of everyone at the scene were all on the Konoha guard member. The expressions vary. The faces of those who were controlled by Obito were still so cold and expressionless. The three of Yahiko, as well as Obito who turned into Konoha Anbu, had expressions of astonishment on their faces. What do you mean? Yahiko asked, looking at Uchiha Rukin with great confusion. Don't you understand? Whether it's Konoha's people or Wyan's people, they've all fallen into illusions, and they've all been controlled. Ryuin shrugged and said to Yahiko. So, is that so? Yahiko and the others were all shocked, showing an unbelievable look. They couldn't believe their ears. Naruto, Tsuko, these are the top figures in the ninja world. Who is it that can have such a great hand? Your Excellency, are you controlling all of this? Who are you, what are you planning, and what are you doing? Xiaonan stared at Uchiha Obito and asked in a deep voice. She didn't doubt Ryuin's words, because since Ryuin revealed the truth, both Hokage and Mizukage stopped moving and looked at this person subconsciously. Waiting for the man's order. Apparently it was controlled by this man. How come? You didn't even have my illusion. It's impossible. Uchiha Obito was also completely shocked. He didn't answer Xiaonan's question, but stared at Lu Ren blankly. That is a kaleidoscope illusion, and even the force of the human column can be perfectly controlled. This person is actually fine. In this world, nothing is impossible. Lu Ren said lightly. What the hell are you? Obito roared at Lu Ren with hatred and anger. A person who you don't deserve to treat me as a chess piece. Lu Ren shrugged and said lightly, since you have counted on me, then you are considered unlucky. Originally, Lu Ren was deliberately tricked, and honestly cooperated with Obito in acting, just because he felt that doing so might lead to Obito to his secret base. Just sign up, that's all, but now it seems impossible. After taking the land to use them, it is very likely that they will kill them directly. It's a matter of time before Namikaze Minato's life is saved, but the lives of these little scumbags probably won't be saved. In this case, Ryuin will naturally not play with Obito anymore. He has no hobby of being played like a monkey. In fact, for the scene that Obito arranged at the moment, Lu Ren fully understood after experiencing the initial confusion. Obviously, Obito's move is to stimulate Nagato, defeat Nagato's belief, and then completely control Nagato. In the original Hokage plot, Nagato's blackening was because Hanzo and Danzo joined forces to kill Yahiko. However, the mastermind behind this incident is actually Danzo. Although Hanzo had heard of Akatsuki's reputation at first, he didn't take Akatsuki to heart. The fundamental reason is that the old thief Danzo once saw Nagato use the Eye of Reincarnation to channel out the outsider golem. Under his shock, he thought of getting the Eye of Reincarnation. So Danzo began to provoke it, and finally succeeded in persuading Hanzo, and the two teamed up to attack Akatsuki. Obito also sat back and enjoyed the success, adding fuel to the flames to advance all this. But now, Danzo didn't even have time to plan all this, and was killed by Lu Ren early. Nagato, which was supposed to be blackened, was not blackened. So Obito would personally take action and carry out such a plan. The Akatsuki organization has always believed in peace, and Obito used this peace negotiation to let Nagato and the others see the cruel truth of the ninja world and defeat Nagato and their beliefs. If Yahiko and Konan died during this process, the effect would be even better. It has to be said that this is indeed a good strategy, but it is a pity that Obito had bad luck and encountered Lu Ren. Catch him for me. A cold and deep voice sounded, and Uchiha Obito pointed the blade with his hand, and coldly gave orders to those present. Whoosh whoosh, Konoha Anbu, Kurigaku Anbu, one after another Anbu people rushed towards Lu Ren. Lu Ren flipped his hand, took out a huge shuriken, shook his hand and threw it at those who rushed. At the same time, both hands formed a seal, shuriken shadow clone technique. Boom! The huge shuriken split into countless shuriken in midair, and for a while, the dense shuriken immediately covered the sky. Chi. Those ninjas flying towards Liurin were slammed by such a wave of shuriken sword rain, and it was impossible to resist. Like dumplings, one after another fell from the air. Among them, most of the ninjas killed by Ryurin turned into strange white monsters after they fell to the ground. White absolutely. No wonder there were so many Konoha and Korean people at the scene. It turned out that most of the ninjas were changed by Baiju using the technique of disguise. You don't need to take out these little fools to show your ugliness, right? Lu Ren said lightly with a touch of disdain at the corner of his mouth. Obito's face was a little ugly. Lu Ren could crack his illusion. He knew that Lu Ren was very human, but when Lu Ren shot, he still found that he underestimated Lu Ren. That shuriken shadow avatar technique is not something that ordinary ninjas can do. The others stepped back. Minato Namikaze, take down this person. Obito began to give orders ruthlessly again. After hearing the order, Minato Namikaze turned around and walked towards Lu Ren without any nonsense or hesitation. Swish swish. The sound of the robe fluttering sounded, but Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan performed the shunshu technique and appeared in front of Lu Ren. Although they didn't know who Lu Ren was, after a certain period of buffering, they gradually understood what was going on. This peace negotiation is completely a trap against them. But this trap was broken by the person in front of him. This person is kind to them. Now that Lu Ren is being dealt with by the soil, Yahiko and the three will naturally not stand by and watch the tiger fight. They plan to fight the enemy together with Lu Ren and kill them together. We will cover you, and you will find a chance to evacuate first. Yahiko said to Lu Ren in a deep voice. Nagato and Konan didn't say much, but their faces were firm, and they obviously agreed with Yahiko's words. Lu Ren sighed in his heart. How kind and naive the three Nagato are now. A very good man. Thinking about their ending in the future, Lu Ren couldn't help but sigh. What about you? The three of you can't deal with this kind of battle, right? Lu Ren shrugged and asked back. It doesn't matter, this person took so much pains to set up this game, and his purpose was not to kill us. Yahiko glanced at Uchiha Obito and analyzed it calmly. If the other party really wants to kill them, just send someone to ambush and kill them. Why waste so much energy and act in front of them? What is the purpose of this person? I already have some guesses. I have great confidence that he will not kill us, so you can leave with confidence and leave it here to us. Yahiko spoke to Rukin again. Thank you for your kindness, but this guy is not qualified to let me escape. Lu Ren said calmly. Then he pushed away the three of Yahiko and stood in front of them. Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan looked at each other and did not block, but planned to wait and see. If something goes wrong, it's not too late for them to help. Tatata. Immediately after Ryuan went out, Namikaze Minato rushed towards Ryuan. The right hand of Namikaze Minato flickered, and a spiral pill was rubbed out by him long ago, flashing with dazzling light, brewing terrifying energy. In the blink of an eye, he rushed in front of Lu Ren. Boom. Spiral pill with a huge momentum, directly printed on the body of Lu Ren. Hiss. The three of Nagato Yahiko, who were watching the battle, couldn't help but suddenly tightened, and their hearts were instantly raised in their throats. They originally thought that Lu Ren had some skills, but they didn't even react, and were directly hit by the joint attack of Hokage and Mizukage. This is not dead or seriously injured. But in the next moment, something astonishing happened. The spiral pill of Namikaze Minato went straight through Lu Ren's body. It seems that the flow blade is illusory. Shinwei. How is this possible? Obito on one side saw this scene, and was so stimulated that he almost fell to the ground, and almost cried out in shock. It was like seeing the most incredible thing in the world. Shinwei is his unique pupil technique, and it stands to reason that no one else in the entire ninja world can use it except him. How can this guy in front of me do? Impossible. Could it be? He dug out Kakashi's right eye. No, even Kakashi's right eye, his pupil technique is different from mine. Obito murmured and looked at Lu Ren. The whole person was extremely messy, and at this moment only felt that the three views were completely shattered. Because Kakashi's right eye came from Obito, and the awakening of that right eye was due to the awakening of Obito's left eye. It is awakened by the blood connection and induction of the two eyes. So when he woke up, Obito also knew the power of Kakashi's eye, which was a long-range divine power, which was different from the divine power of his left eye. So the question is, where did the power of this mysterious Uchiha tribe come from? Did he also wake up? But two Uchiha clansmen awakened to the exact same pupil technique, which was unheard of. Hateful. Obito, who was shocked, clenched his fists involuntarily. It is precisely because he has the power of God that he knows how difficult it is to deal with the power of God. Moreover, when Fang was automatically blurring to evade the attack of the two of them, Obito didn't feel that the opponent's body moved into his divine power space. This means that the other party's divine power space and his own divine power space are two completely different divine power spaces. Catch this person no matter what. Obito secretly made this decision in his heart. This Uchiha guy is full of secrets, and he has the same pupil technique as himself, which makes Obito extremely jealous. Namikaze Minato, don't let me down. Obito immediately looked at Namikaze Minato and said secretly in his heart. Namikaze Minato's one-handed flying thunder god is hard to guard against, but it is not so easy to deal with. What's more, there is still a Mizukage Goji Tachibana Yakura, and now that there are two major shadow-level masters, Obito still doesn't believe it, and he can't take down this mysterious Uchiha man. Jingle jingle. Under Obito's gaze, Rairin held two kunai in his hands, and started a fierce battle with Namikaze Minato. It was really dazzling and dizzying for a time, and it was really exciting and intense. It is also a pupil technique with Shinwei, but the strategies used by Rairin and Obito are completely different. Obito is too dependent on Shinwei, and he is completely fighting with Shinwei. Lu Ren is different, he just uses Shinwei as an auxiliary method. In addition to blurring when necessary, Ryuin's battles are all the use of some conventional ninjutsu and taijutsu. As for those extremely lethal pupil techniques, Lu Ren did not use it on Minato Namikaze. After all, Namikaze Minato is under the control of others. Under the circumstance that he is fully capable of protecting himself, Lu Ren will not really kill Minato Namikaze. Swish. In the middle of the fierce battle, when Namikaze Minato used other attacks to limit Ruken's response, he shot Kagami Kunai at Ryokan again. Namikaze Minato's fighting consciousness is very good, this attack has no timing, and the angle is perfect, so that Rairin can't dodge at all, and can only be blurred. In the blink of an eye, the flying thunder god kunai shuttled through Lu Ren's body and appeared directly behind Lu Ren. Swish. It was also at this critical moment that Minato Namikaze's body disappeared in front of Lu Ren. Flying Thunder God Second Dan. The corner of Lu Ren's mouth evoked a faint smile. This move is of no use to him at all. At this time, Lu Ren also took out a Flying Thunder God kunai, shot it in front of him, and then the Flying Thunder God used it, and the others disappeared all of a sudden. Boom! The spiral pill in Minato's hand slammed directly to the ground. What? The technique of Flying Thunder God. Namikaze Minato was suddenly startled, showing an inconceivable look. Besides him, there is another person in the ninja world who is also proficient in the technique of flying thunder gods. How can that be? How could he fly Thor? Obito's eyes suddenly widened, too surprised to speak. Originally, it was difficult to deal with a god, but now with a flying thunder god, there are not many people in the entire ninja world who can do anything to this person. But after being surprised, Obito also reacted instantly. A year ago, Kurikan invaded Konoha, and the strong man who killed 5 ninja swords and 7 people was the person in front of him. Who the hell is this guy? Obito's head was as big as hemp. This person is so powerful, but he has been hiding in Konoha silently for so many years, and no one has ever known his existence. What is he trying to do? How did you know how to fly the Thunder God technique? Minato Namikaze's extremely surprised voice sounded, and he asked Lu Ren with his eyes fixed on him. Self-taught. Lu Ren responded casually. Then the long-range divine power was used, and Fei Lei Shen Kunai, who threw Nika's Minato out, was directly inhaled into the divine power space. From the battle until now, Rairin has paid special attention to this point. As long as Minato Namikaze hits Kuei, he will immediately be included in the Shinwei space. Try not to give Nika's Minato the chance to cast Flying Thor. Now there is only one sign of Namikaze Minato left on the ground. What no one knows is that this is not something that Lu Ren missed or neglected, but that Lu Ren did it on purpose. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. With the sound of Lu Ren, the sky-filled shuriken shot at Minato Namikaze again, turning into a rain of shuriken swords, surrounding Minato Namikaze. In the face of such a range of attacks, Minato Namikaze naturally would not waste his energy to resist, and he naturally used Flying Thunder God to dodge. The person disappeared suddenly, and appeared on the only point marked. However, At this moment, an accident happened suddenly. Minato has just appeared, when a hand suddenly stretched out from the ground and grabbed Minato by his ankle. Not good. An unpleasant feeling flashed in Minato Namikaze's heart, and before he had time to act, a voice faintly came from his ear, "The art of decapitation in my heart." He only felt that his eyes were full of flowers, and his body was shaken, and the whole person was buried in the ground, only a head emerged. Boom. And a shadow clone that Lu Ren was quietly ambushing there was also automatically released, and disappeared into blue smoke. Wave Wind Minato, just like that. The current Namikaze Minato has been imprisoned, and he can't even use a single bit of ninjutsu, which is no longer a cause for concern. Namikaze Minato. His depression at the moment can be imagined. After fighting in the 3 battles for so long, he has not missed the entire ninja world. He never imagined that he would be deflated twice in such a short period of time today. They're all planted on the same trick. Water escape, water breaks waves. Just when Lu Ren had just controlled the wave wind Minato, such a voice faintly sounded in his ears. A sense of danger instantly struck him. Laugh. At this moment, a waterline that was extremely sharp enough to shoot through the steel plate shot directly towards the flow blade from the mouth of Yutaki Yakura. Lu Ren naturally entered the virtual state, and the waterline penetrated directly from Lu Ren's body. Tisk tisk, sneak attack, isn't it shameful? With a sarcastic smile on his face, Lu Ren turned his head and looked at Obito from a distance. Although it was Guju Yakura who started it, he was also a well-known person like Mizukage, so he shouldn't be able to do a sneak attack. Most likely it was Obito's order to Yakura Gotachibana. Obito's face, which was wrapped by Bai Jufei, flashed a blush. He believes that he is standing at the top of the ninja world, acting as the black hand behind the scenes, treating all beings as chess pieces, and planning the next big chess game for the entire ninja world. Such a despicable method is also somewhat embarrassing. But there is no way out now. Kamui and Fei Lei Shen, no matter which one is enough to make a ninja disappear without a trace, immune to most attacks. This person actually possesses these 2 kinds of stunts. If he doesn't use extraordinary means, Obito will not be able to keep this person at all. With each other, isn't it the same for you to use your clones to ambush Namifung Minato? Obito said bluntly, but he actually knew that the 2 were not the same thing at all. Lu Ren smiled contemptuously. However, this mere water ninjutsu can hurt me. Of course not under normal circumstances, but don't forget where this place is. This is Yuyan village where it rains all the year round. You must have felt how humid the whole village is. There is much more moisture in the air than anywhere else. In such an environment, how long do you think this water escape ninjutsu can last? Obito is confident. Others can't understand these words, but Lu Ren is clear and clear. I am afraid that only he and Obito know this place. There is a time limit for the virtualization of Shinwei. Obito was planning to let Gotachibana Yakura take advantage of this weakness of Kamui and break the Kamui of Ryuan. Doing this is equivalent to exposing your own weaknesses. You really worked hard to deal with me. There was no trace of panic on Lu Ren's face, and he was calm as if he was talking about something trivial. Let's go and help him. Konan, who had been watching, whispered to Yahiko and Nagato. Although it seemed to her that the attack of Kuroko Tachibana didn't hurt Ryuan at all, but listening to the conversation between Ryuan and Obito, it seemed that that move posed a great threat to Ryuan. As smart as she was, she immediately felt something was wrong and planned to help Lu Ren. Stop them. Obito has been staring at Xiaonan and the others. Seeing that these people are dishonest, he immediately shouted to the Baiju and the other ninjas who were under his control. A group of people rushed towards Yahiko and the 3 of them. You 2 cover me, Konan whispered to Yahiko and Nagato, and then a large amount of paper flew out of her body, like flying butterflies, condensing behind her. A pair of wings are formed. Xiaonan flew directly into the sky, passed over the ninjas who were blocking them, and flew towards Yuju Tachibana Yakura. Stop him, Obito ordered sharply, and the ninja on the ground immediately shot a large piece of shuriken, kunai and other ninja tools at Xiaonan in the air. Chi chi chi, chi chi chi. Xiaonan also shot a lot of paper shuriken from his body, blocking all the shuriken and other attacks that blocked her. When Yahiko and Nagato saw this, they launched a fierce attack on the ground troops, and the pressure on Xiaonan in the sky was relieved a lot. It is no longer possible to effectively intercept her. Xiaonan flew to the sky above Yutaki Yakura very smoothly, and shot a large number of paper shuriken at Yutaki Yakura. Humph! Obito snorted coldly, slapped his hands sharply, and used Mudden ninjutsu. With the sound of clack, a large branch of branches suddenly protruded from the ground. Intertwined and intertwined, a barrier was formed between Yutaki Yakura and Konan, completely blocking Konan's paper shuriken. At the same time, a large number of wooden branches stabbed towards Xiaonan fiercely. Facing this level of attack, Xiaonan's Jidun couldn't stand it at all, so he could only spread his wings and retreat back in embarrassment. 3 people, caught in a siege. Just protect yourselves, they can't do anything about me. Lu Ren couldn't help saying to the 3 of Yahiko. Originally, he wanted to use countermeasures, but he didn't expect that before he could use it, Xiaonan and the 3 of them couldn't hold back their breath. However, seeing the 3 people who were caught in a hard fight, Lu Ren still thought, let's fight quickly. Thinking of this, Lu Ren's complexion suddenly sank, he raised his head and stared straight at Yuju Yakura, and the kaleidoscope turned abruptly. Amaterasu. Goji Tachibana Yakura instinctively felt a great sense of crisis, or more accurately, a life-and-death crisis. At that moment, he was almost instinctive, and instantly released the tailed beast chakra in his body, and the flame-like red-tailed beast chakra coat immediately wrapped his whole body. Base. Almost at the moment when Goji Yakura was wrapped, a black and terrifying flame burst out from his tailed beast chakra coat. What? Goji Tachibana Yakura was burned to the ground and screamed. The attack on the flow blade was naturally interrupted. How is this possible? Obito was dumbfounded. When he was attacked and blurred, this person could take the initiative to attack others. For Obito, who also possesses divine power, it shatters the 3 views. As we all know, Shenwei cannot attack others when it is in a virtual state. Once an attack is launched, it must be materialized. But this kind of attack is only an attack in the conventional sense, but it does not include pupil surgery. After all, Shenwei itself is a kind of pupil technique. If the pupil technique also materializes the divine power, then the divine power cannot be virtualized at all, which is completely contradictory. So will one person's simultaneous use of 2 pupil spells conflict with each other? Lu Ren proved with his actual actions that there is no conflict. His current blurring is only the pupil technique of his left eye, but Amaterasu uses his right eye to activate it and does not affect each other. Also, this terrifying black flame, what is the method? Is it also a pupil technique? 1 eye power, 1 eye black flame. This is even possible. Isn't the divine power appearing in pairs? Obito's entire brain was buzzing at this moment, and it was completely messy. What? Under the gazes of everyone, Goji Tachibana Yakura rolled on the ground for a while before he stopped struggling, and the tailed beast chakra coat on his body was completely burned. It was revealed that Yakura Gotichia himself came. He himself has completely passed out at this moment, and a large area of skin has been severely burned, which looks really terrible. Obito's face was ugly. Originally, he thought that he had already controlled both Minato Namikaze and Yakura Gotichibana, and could easily grab the Ryu blade. But who would have thought that this person's strength is much stronger than he imagined? Namikaze Minato had been fighting with this person for a while, and it was much more embarrassing to hold the position of the Wolf Orange, and he was defeated by this person in an instant. Thinking about this person's abilities, Fei Lei Shen Wei, that is not sure if it is the terrible black flame of the pupil technique. Obito only felt his scalp tingle for a while. He had absolutely no confidence in winning against such an opponent. Obito, this enemy is too tricky, your plan this time is completely in vain, we should withdraw quickly. At this time, Fei, who was wearing Obito, made a proposal to Obito at this time. Shut up. Obito angrily scolded off Fei, but his eyes were fixed on Lu Ren, not daring to relax at all. That weird and unpredictable black flame, he didn't know how the flow blade was activated, brought him a great threat. It's a pupil technique, but it's a bit unreasonable to say that one eye is divine and the other eye is black. Simply weird. Obito thought to himself that against such a powerful enemy, ordinary tricks would have no effect at all. He stopped talking nonsense and clapped his hands. Kakaka. From the ground, wooden branches burst out of the ground, attacking the flowing blades like poisonous snakes. Lu Ren used the technique of Flying Thunder God to dodge easily, and instantly appeared in another place, and the speed of the wooden branches was far behind. Humph, flying thunder god, it's really troublesome. Obito snorted coldly. Although he did not have long-range divine might, Mudun was no worse than long-range divine might when used at this time. A few branches were separated, and all the flying thunder gods on the ground Kuwukwon were gathered together and sucked into the Shinwei space. In this way, the flying thunder god of Flowing Blade is equivalent to being broken. He still didn't believe that Fei Lei Shen could teleport into the alien space. Ka. At the same time, under the control of Obito, large swaths of wooden branches broke out of the ground, constantly attacking the Flowing Blade, and surrounded the Flowing Blade from all directions. The speed is extremely fast, and the Flow Blade is surrounded by it in the blink of an eye. At this time, Lu Ren is Fei Lei Shen Kuwu unable to send out, because all around are blocked by wooden branches. It is even more impossible to use Shinwei for space transfer, because when you move yourself into Shinwei space, your body is solidified, and you will be directly hit and injured once you transfer. Under Obito's estimation, Lu Ren can only use the two tricks of blurring or the terrifying black flame at this time. But no matter which move, Obito can control the regeneration of wooden branches by constantly using the power of wooden escape, and continuously attack the Flow Blade to crack. If the other party uses black flames, I will make 10 after burning one of my wooden branches, and even Obito will not believe that black flames are endless. As for the virtual, the same is true. Obito will also control the continuous growth, wriggling, piercing and other uninterrupted attacks of the wooden branches. When the time is up, the blur can also be broken. Now, let's see how you want to break my move. Obito thought confidently as he looked at the tree branches in the sky. What Obito could think of, Lu Ren naturally also thought of it. At this time, Flying Thunder God is useless, Shinwei and Amaterasu are not very useful, but it doesn't matter, Lu Ren has other means. Still without considering Kai Susa. 8-door Dunjia, the first door, open. Lu Ren stood proudly in the center surrounded by wooden branches, and instantly opened the 8 doors to the 5th door. Boom! Obito immediately felt that within the wooden nest, there was a sudden burst of powerful energy frenzy. Wooden nest was suddenly punched out by life. Then a person came out of the hole like that, and the whole person burst out with a shockingly huge power, making Obito feel a kind of suffocation. What's the matter with this terrifying power? Obito gasped on the spot, and was once again shocked by Lu Ren's powerful means. Monthly reading. At the first moment of rushing out of the wooden nest, Lu Ren directly looked into Obito's eyes and performed this sky-defying illusion on Obito. Obito only felt that the world around him turned black and white as soon as he saw a flower. This is illusion. Obito was suddenly surprised. He is a kaleidoscope riding wheel eye, and he can even be an illusion. What kind of illusion is this? Isn't it too heaven-defying? At the moment, the riding wheel in Obito's pupils turned sharply, and the strange and disturbing black and white world around him finally disappeared. But at this moment, Obito discovered that terrifying black flame was burning on his body. That's right, the real purpose of Rairan's use of Yuyu is to create an opportunity to use Amaterasu against Obito. Obito is also a kaleidoscope riding wheel eye, and Lu Ren is not sure how long Obito can be trapped in the moon reading space. It is not a wise choice to use moon reading to deal with Obito. But one thing is certain, even if it is a kaleidoscope with soil, when facing the moon reading, in the real space, the other party will definitely be absent for a moment. Under such a sky-defying attack as Amaterasu, a momentary loss of consciousness was fatal. Ah, it hurts, hurts, hurts. Baiju Afe suddenly screamed, and the body wrapped around Obito began to struggle frantically. Everyone saw that Obito's body began to squirm, which was indescribably strange. Ka. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the place where Afe was burned by the black flames began to frantically split the wooden branches outward, pushing all the black flames out. In time, the strong man broke his wrist, and took the initiative to cut off the wooden branch that was burning with black flames. This was the solution to this great crisis. It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous, I almost died. Afe cried out in fear. Obito's face was even more gloomy to the extreme, and he also had an unstoppable fear. If he hadn't been wearing a white coat, he would have died. Obito, this person is too powerful, let's hurry up, I don't want to die. Ah Fei kept yelling beside Obito. Shut up. Obito was very irritated by Ah Fei, a guy who was too ambitious to destroy his own prestige, and frowned and drank a low sentence. But even if Obito didn't want to admit it, he had to admit that his plan this time had fallen short. Failed to go to Grandma's house. With a look of unwillingness, resentment, jealousy and many other emotions intertwined, he stared deeply at Lu Ren. Obito didn't say much nonsense, and left the scene after launching the teleportation technique. The reason why he didn't use the divine power to leave was because Obito still had the last glimmer of hope in his heart. In this operation, he used the transformation technique from beginning to end, and he did not show his true colors. Nagato and the others, should they still not know who they are? As for the mysterious Uchiha on the side of Minato Namaifung, although he guessed that his purpose this time was Nagato and the others, it was absolutely impossible to know what identity he had appeared in front of Nagato before. In Obito's heart, there is one last chance, that is, Nagato and the others won't see through their true identity. Seeing Obito evacuating, Lu Ren did not stop him. The current Obito not only has divine power, but can also use the wooden dungeon. Without exposing the Eye of Reincarnation, he has no certainty to stop it. As soon as Obito left, those Baiju disguised as ninjas did not continue to embarrass Nagato and they also began to evacuate quickly. In the blink of an eye, the nameless barren hills that were originally full of people were left with only a few people, such as Yahiko, Nagato Konan, and the buried Minato Namika. As for Yakura, who was unconscious on the ground. I'm sorry, the poor baby's presence in Hokage is too low, and it was subconsciously ignored by Lu Ren. Your Excellency, it is really thanks to you this time, otherwise our Shao organization might have been destroyed. After Obito and his people evacuated, the three of Yahiko came to Lu Ren and thanked Lu Ren very sincerely. You're welcome, I was also involved unintentionally. Lu Ren waved his hand, as if he had done a trivial thing. I wonder if Your Excellency can tell the identity so that we can also know who the benefactor is. Nagato said at this time, looking at Lu Ren. Uchiha Ryuan. Ryuan pondered for a while, but still told Nagato their true identity. Anyway, the real appearance was seen by Nagato and the others, and he belonged to the Konoha guards, so it didn't matter whether he said his name or not. The other party really wanted to know, and they found out as soon as they checked. Yahiko and the others didn't know that Lu Ren had known them for a long time, and they ran to Lu Ren one by one to declare their names. After a few chats, they officially met. By the way, do you know why the guy who pretended to be Konoha Anbu designed you? After chatting for a while, Lu Ren asked. I already have a guess. Yahiko's eyes twinkled, and his tone was deep and authentic. He, Nagato and Xiaonan looked at each other, and found that the other party had the same affirmation, and immediately knew that everyone had the same guess. It should be a guy who calls himself Madara Uchiha, Yahiko said to the blade in a deep voice. About a year ago, that guy suddenly found Nagato, calling himself Madara Uchiha, the leader of Samsara Eye, and wanted to absorb Nagato. However, he is too extreme and extreme. We have always been very guarded against him, and we have not given him any additional meeting to use Nagato. This time, I guess that this person planned the action, and the purpose should be for Nagato. If you didn't destroy it in time, Nagato would probably become this person's puppet. Yahiko spoke eloquently and said his guess. Although it was just a guess, Yahiko's tone was actually quite certain. After all, the layout of Obito is really a bit weird. He controlled such a big battle of Hokage and Mizukage, just to play a show in front of Nagato and the others. It just doesn't make sense. However, if the things about Madara Uchiha are combined, everything becomes reasonable, and the logic can be completely self-consistent. It is not surprising that Yahiko and the others made such inferences. He was happy to hear Yahiko's words. Obito really shot himself in the foot this time. This failed operation successfully made Yahiko and the others more vigilant. In the future, Obito wanted to design Nagato and the others, but it would not be so easy. However, Lu Ren did not reveal Obito's identity. The ghost knows if there is Baiju lying in ambush around here, and he doesn't want to reveal his prescient to attract Heiju's attention. Lu Ren, what are you going to do next? After a few simple exchanges, Yahiko started looking at Ryuran again. Naturally, I will bring Lord Hokage back to Konoha, how about you? Lu Ren asked back. Yahiko thought for a while, and exchanged glances with Nagato and the others. We plan to send Mizukage-sama back to Kurigakushi and tell them that Mizukage-sama has been controlled. Lu Ren is not surprised by this, since Akatsuki is still a very strong organization, so it is not surprising to do so. Moreover, Shuiying was originally invited to participate in the peace negotiation by accepting their invitation. If such a big accident happened in the middle, they were also obliged to send Shuiying back. After the two sides agreed, Yahiko and the others took Yakura, who was in a coma, away, while Rairin came to the front of Minato, who was buried in the ground. If I just dug you out like this, you will definitely shoot at me, right? Lu Ren shrugged and said rather painfully. Looking at the other members of the original Konoha Anbu and the guards who were knocked unconscious and killed by Yahiko and the others on the ground, Lu Ren felt a little troublesome. Minato Namikaze didn't speak, just stared at Rairin coldly. Now he is still under the control of Obito, and regards Rairin as an enemy, so he definitely cannot bring back Konoha directly. That's just asking for trouble for yourself. After thinking for a while, Lu Ren made a decision. He first turned towards Minato Namikaze's eyes, and the writing wheel in his pupils turned, and launched a pupil technique of the other gods. Not only has the illusion of Namikaze Minato removed, but also the related memories of Namikaze Minato have been tampered with. To put it simply, in the memory of Minato Namaifung, he saw through Obito's conspiracy, and the person who defeated Obito was no longer Ryuin, but a mysterious person who suddenly appeared. As for Lu Ren, like the other Anbu people, they all became Obito's pawns, besieging Akatsuki's three leaders under Obito's control, and finally being knocked unconscious by Akatsuki's leader. After replacing the memories for Minato Namikaze, Lu Ren just dug Minato Namikaze out of the ground. He himself was lying on the ground honestly, and like the other surviving Konoha ninjas, he acted as a corpse. Not long after all this was done, Minato Namaifung regained consciousness. He recalled what had just happened for a moment, and he broke out in a cold sweat. Who is that guy who can use time and space ninjutsu? What is he doing with such a complicated plan? Namikaze Minato recalled what happened, and really broke out in a cold sweat. If it wasn't for the mysterious man's sudden appearance and sabotage the masked man's plan, his dignified Konoha Hokage would have become the other party's puppet. It is not advisable to stay here for a long time. I must go back to the village immediately and inform Konoha about this. After simply sorting out the memories in his mind, Minato Namikaze quickly woke the Konoha ninjas who were in a coma at the scene. Enter Chakra to interfere, break the illusion of the other party, and then return to Konoha in a hurry with a group of people. It is worth mentioning that the use of the other gods by Lu Ren just replaced a memory for Namikaze Minato, that's all. It's not that the other gods are used to control Namikaze Minato all the time. So the chakra in Minato's brain is in a normal state. It's not like Goji Tachibana Yakura, the chakra in the brain is in an abnormal state all the time, and then it is discovered by the blue eyes. Even if Namikaze Minato returns to Konoha, he will not reveal any clues in the face of the investigation of the Hinata clan. What's more, it is impossible for the people of the Hyuga clan to investigate Minato Namikaze casually. Of course, even if you investigate, you can't find anything. What Namikaze Minato encountered during the peace negotiations soon caused a sensation within Konoha, and the masked man directly entered the sight of all high-level officials of Konoha. According to Namikaze Minato's description, this person possesses the mysterious and unpredictable space-time ninjutsu, and is also proficient in wood escape and has the eyes of the Uchiha clan. Even Namikaze Minato was planted in this person's hands, it was simply too dangerous and terrifying. But it is precisely because of this that the mysterious man who saved Minato Namikaze shocked the entire Konoha. Not only did that man easily defeat Minato, but he also killed Yakura Tachibana in seconds, and the masked man fled in a panic. He was so overbearing. After listening to Minato Nika's describe in detail what happened in the Rukin battle against the various masters, Hizen Sarutobi and the other masters in the office couldn't help but nod their heads. Basically, the identity of the mysterious person can be confirmed. A year ago, the 7 people of Kurigaku's ninja swords invaded Konoha, and 5 people were killed by the mysterious man. According to the descriptions of the witnesses at the time, Yuhihiro, Mitekai, and the others, the mysterious man used a kind of domineering black flames. And according to your description, Minato, the mysterious man also used a black flame to repel Mizuyage and the masked man. These two black flames should be the same method. So according to my inference, the mysterious person who rescued Watergate today and the mysterious person who has been hiding in the village should be the same person. Sarutobi Hijen pondered while pacing in front of the crowd, a view that was unanimously agreed by everyone. After all, there are only so many masters in the ninja world, and the 5 shadows basically represent the highest level of the current ninja. At best, there is a Hanzo called a demigod. In this case, it is too rare to be able to surpass the shadow level powerhouse. It would be nice to have that one, but how could they meet 2 in a row, and they both happen to have good intentions for Konoha, they rescue Konoha, and at the same time they are proficient in the same kind of black flame. This possibility is really low. The mysterious person who shot this time is the mysterious person who has been hiding in Konoha for a long time. This is the closest possibility to the truth. I can't believe that the mysterious person is not only proficient in time and space ninjutsu, but also proficient in Minato's Flying Thunder God technique. This is too incredible. Thinking about the power of the mysterious man described by Minato Namaifung, everyone at the scene couldn't help feeling suffocated. That is beyond the many, another level of powerhouse. Fortunately, this powerhouse is a friend of Konoha, not an enemy. Next, the surviving Konoha Anbu and the guards, including Ryurin, were also investigated by Konoha one after another. The confessions of all of them were highly consistent and consistent with Minato Namikaze, so it did not arouse any suspicion from Konoha. These people are not so lucky. Lu Ren did not waste other gods on them, but just controlled them with a simple kaleidoscope illusion. After all, it's just a group of little guys, no one will care. The senior officials of Konoha quickly turned their attention to the masked man. In their opinion, the mysterious man has repeatedly rescued Konoha, which is not enough to worry about. The only threat now is the masked man. After receiving Konoha's investigation, Ryublade trimmed for a while, and then went back to the Konoha guard to report. However, not long after returning to the Konoha guard, he and another guard who survived were called over by the Patriarch Uchiha Fugaku. Uchiha Fuyu's face was very serious. He stared at Lu Ren and another person and asked in a deep voice, "Can you be sure that the masked man who attacked you on the way is from the Uchiha clan?" Patriarch, we can be sure, we have all seen clearly, he really has a riding wheel eye. Lu Ren and another person answered truthfully. Fuyu carefully inquired about Obito's pupil technique, as well as some other detailed questions, as if he wanted to confirm Obito's identity. It's just a pity that the masked man is wearing a mask from beginning to end, so it is impossible to confirm. Okay, I get it. Go back to the guards first. Remember, don't talk to others about the masked man. Uchiha Fuyu heavily explained the two of Ryurin. The Uchiha family and the village originally had a deep estrangement. If the news of the mysterious Uchiha man attacking Hokage Konoha spreads again, this estrangement and contradiction will be greatly intensified. Even now, Uchiha Fugaku can feel the suspicion of the village's top management. Even Hiruzen Sarutobi and Mito Menyon ask themselves openly and secretly if they knew the whereabouts of the masked man. Who is that Uchiha clansman? After Lu Ren and the others left, Uchiha Fugaku began to fall into contemplation. Naihi searched his head, but no matter what, he couldn't remember who the other party was. After returning from the Patriarch, Lu Ren began to join the Konoha guard and began to patrol the village. Red, I bought 2 movie tickets, are you free tonight? Asma, I told you to stop pestering me, I don't like you at all. It doesn't matter if you don't like me now, I won't give up, you will accept me sooner or later. I'll never like you, I already have someone I like. When patrolling a street intersection, Lu Ren saw a man and a woman arguing on the street. It was Yuhika and Asma. That guy Asma is still stalking Yuhika. Lu Ren, this guy is pestering your woman again. Oh, Lu Ren, it seems that the lesson someone learned last time was not enough. Lu Ren's companion showed a very playful smile beside Lu Ren, looked at Lu Ren, what are you going to do? You guys are waiting for me here. Ryurin responded casually, and then strode towards Asma and Yuhika. Flowing blade. Hearing the footsteps, Hong Yuhi glanced at him and saw Uchiha Rukin who was walking towards them. His eyes lit up and he blurted out. Seeing Yuhika's familiar attitude towards Ryan, Asma's face suddenly turned gloomy. The fists clenched unconsciously. First, he felt envious, jealous and hated for the relationship between Hong and Lu Ren, and second, he unconsciously recalled the humiliation this man once brought him. Miss, may I ask if this person is harassing you? Ryan ignored Asma's desire to eat people, and asked Hong Yuhi with a straight face. Uchiha Rukin, don't go too far. Asma yelled at Rukin angrily. What, just because you are Hokage's son, you can ignore Konoha's rules? I tell you, get out of Hong's side immediately, or I will definitely deal with you. Lu Ren turned his head, glanced at Asma condescendingly, and said coldly. Asma nearly exploded her lungs. Lu Ren, forget it. Hong didn't want to make things worse, so he pulled Lu Ren's arm. Whether it counts or not, that's not my decision. Lu Ren glanced at Asma, and the threat was self-evident. Asma, let's go, don't pester me again. Hong said to Asma at this time. Asma's face was flushed red, and when he was young and frivolous, he couldn't bear it any longer, and a roar came out of his mouth, too deceiving. Call. In the roar, a fierce punch hit Lu Ren directly. Looking for death. A trace of disdain flashed in Lu Ren's mouth. The methods of the year were done in the same way, using physical techniques on the surface, but in fact secretly adding the power of Shen Luo Tianzhong. Asma was blown away by the flowing blade again. Exactly the same as a year ago. How come? Why is it still like this? Asma couldn't believe it and couldn't accept it. When he was a special Jonin, he was vulnerable to Lu Ren, but now he is already a Jonin. Unexpectedly still, Lu Ren walked in front of Asma calmly, reached out and patted the dust on Asma's clothes, and said softly, in the future, stay away from Hong, otherwise, I will see you hitting you once. Boom. After saying these words lightly, Lu Ren punched Asma's stomach with a hard punch. Asma was knocked over by Lu Ren with one punch, clutching his stomach and curled up into a ball, unable to get up. Okay, it's settled. After doing all this, Lu Ren came to Hong's side as if he had done a trivial thing. Lu Ren, so, is there a problem? Hong asked worriedly. What's the problem? I'm just acting according to the duties of the guards. Lu Ren looked disapproving. When Hong recalled carefully, it was indeed Asma who made the first move just now, and it was not a loss in principle. I hope I can get rid of Asma after this time. Hong couldn't help thinking in his heart again. By the way, Hong, I seem to have heard you say before, do you have someone you like? Lu Ren asked suddenly thiefly. I want you to take care of it. Hong froze immediately, and fled like a thief after a few seconds. Asma, it's really embarrassing. A voice suddenly sounded behind Lu Ren and the others. Lu Ren and several other guards subconsciously followed the sound, each surprised. Especially the other two guards. Not only were they surprised, but they were obviously very embarrassed and nervous. Jirai also adults. They looked at the long white-haired ninja with the word, oil, written on his forehead, and couldn't help but feel a pain in the balls. No matter how arrogant the Uchiha clansmen are, they can't be arrogant when they meet a ninja of the rank of Sannin. This is especially true for ordinary Uchiha people at the bottom. What's more, in this embarrassing situation, Jirai was also a student of the third generation of Purpose, but Lu Ren beat the third generation of Purpose's own son. Sir Jiraiya. Asma showed a look of shame and embarrassment, and hurriedly got up from the ground, hoping to get into the crack of the ground immediately. Isn't it just being beaten? What's the big deal? Don't be discouraged, who hasn't been beaten when they were young? Zilai also saw Asma's appearance and couldn't help but laugh. He seemed to recall the scene when he was beaten up by a violent woman. And at that time, he was also not convinced by Orochimaru, who is known as a genius. He went to challenge many times, but he was abused. However, you little guy is quite interesting, your physical skills are so powerful. Zilai also walked towards Lu Ren curiously. The other two Uchiha people around Lu Ren became more and more nervous. Lu Ren's expression was as usual, and he was extremely calm. I have spent all my time cultivating body arts. Naturally, I have some attainments in body arts. A Uchiha person who specializes in physical training, interesting. Jirai also murmured, and then made a ha-ha, go ahead and leave me alone. He said and turned around and left. It was as if he had no opinion at all about the fact that the Konoha guards had bullied Asma. In fact, this is indeed the case. Although Rairan beat his teacher's son, in Jiraiya's eyes, it was just a matter between a group of children. With his current seniority, he will not interfere at will. Lord Jiraiya, please wait. Lu Ren suddenly stopped Jiraiya from behind. That, Jiraiya-sama, do you know if there is still the intimate paradise you signed with your autograph? Lu Ren ran to Jiraiya and asked. As a Naruto fan, since I met Jiraiya, how can I not ask the other party for a book of intimacy paradise? This is very collectible. Oh haha, so you are my fan. Jirai never expected to meet fans asking for autographs just after returning to the village, and he immediately showed a proud look on his face. Although I'm very happy to meet my fans, but at your age, is it alright to see intimacy heaven? Jiraiya touched Rairan's head with his hand, and pressed Rairan's hair. Lu Ren smashed Jiraiya's hand with disgust. Master Jiraiya, it's not that I look down on you. You must drive without me. As for old drivers, I call myself number one in the entire ninja world, and no one dares to claim that. Second. Driving. Old driver. Although Jiraiya couldn't understand why Lu Ren suddenly talked about such an irrelevant topic, he felt a deep contempt in Lu Ren's eyes. And, a kind of breath of the same people. Well, I'm in my teens, and I'm not a child anymore. It's okay to look at it. Perhaps he smelled the same kind of smell, and Jiraiya also changed his attitude. However, I don't have an autograph book on me now, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I will stay in Konoha for a while, and I will give it to you when it is signed another day. Then it's settled, Lord Jiraiya. It's a word. Jiraiya waved his hand to Lu Ren, and Shishirin walked away. After Jiraiya left, Asma stared at Lu Ren for a moment with a look of humiliation, unwillingness and resentment, and left the place quickly. I'm so nervous, it really scared me to death just now. The two companions around him couldn't help but sigh. After all, it was indeed Lu Ren who was bullying Asma before. Relax, what kind of ninja is Jiraiya who will take care of our trivial matters? Lu Ren said lightly. Continue to patrol the village casually. It's just that he was thinking secretly in his heart, is Jiraiya going back to the village this time? Is he going back to the village to have a look, or is there any other purpose? Both are possible. After Jiraiya came back, he concentrated on collecting materials in some women's bathhouses, women's clothing stores and other places, enjoying it and forgetting the time. Teacher, you are back. It was not until Minato Namikaze received the news that he personally came to Jiraiya's side. Minato, it's amazing to hear that you've become Hokage. After Jiraiya saw Minato, he reluctantly put away the telescope in his hand. It's all the cultivation of the teacher, and the trust of the village. Minato Namikaze said very modestly. The teacher and student exchanged a few words with each other, and then Jiraiya began to face Minato Namikaze with a serious expression. Minato, go and gather everyone. I'm back this time, and I have something important to tell you. Namikaze Minato's expression froze slightly, and he didn't dare to be slighted, and immediately took Jiraiya to Hokage's office. At the same time, the absolute high-level officials in the village, such as Sarutobi Hizen and Mito Gateyan, were also called over. Jiraiya, everyone is here now. If you have something important, you can talk about it now. Sarutobi Hizen took a puff of dry smoke and slowly spoke to Jiraiya. Jiraiya also looked serious, and told everyone in the office a special experience from the past few days. A few days ago, I was collecting materials. When I was looking for the Son of Prophecy, I was suddenly channeled to Miaomu Mountain by Immortal Shenzuo. The Immortal Shenzuo brought me to the Immortal Big Toad, and Immortal Big Toad told me that the Son of Prophecy has changed. The original Son of Prophecy is a blue-eyed boy who laughs and calls out the name of the nine-headed beast. He will bring major changes to the ninja world. But now, that young man can no longer control the future of the ninja world. Now the major changes in the ninja world will be caused by another person. That person will be the new Son of Prophecy. As soon as Jiraiya's remarks came out, they immediately attracted everyone's attention. They didn't dare to be careless about the prediction of Immortal Big Toad. Jiraiya, about the new Son of Prophecy, what did the Great Toad Immortal see? Sarutobi Hizen asked hurriedly. The new Son of Prophecy is covered by a fog, and the Big Toad Fairy can't see anything clearly. He can only see a picture, the Son of Prophecy, standing in front of the black flame. Jiraiya's voice sounded so solemn. Black flames. Jiraiya, You mean black flame. Jirai didn't expect that just after he finished saying these words, a few surprised voices suddenly sounded in Hokage's office. Ah. Why are you all looking at me like this? Do you know who I am talking about? Zilai was also a little excited. He had been searching for the first son of prophecy for so many years and couldn't find it, and he had no clue. You said, is it possible that the mysterious man who has repeatedly rescued our Konoha is the son of prophecy? Sarutobi Hizen pondered for a moment, then suddenly looked at the crowd and said. Namikaze Minato, Mito Menyon and the others looked at each other, each showing a thoughtful look. So far it looks like this person is the only one they know of who is eligible. After all, black flames have never been used by anyone except this person. Mysterious man, what mysterious man? Only Jiraiya looked confused. For the past 2 years, he has been wandering around in the ninja world, and he has never heard of anything like a mysterious person. Sarutobi Hizen, Namikaze Minato and others told Jiraiya about the mysterious man, and Jiraiya was very surprised and confused after hearing it. Sealing the half-tailed animalized human Zuli, smashing Onogi, killing 5 ninja swords and 7 people, and defeating Namikaze Minato, that person seems to be no weaker than him. But such a master, for more than a year, Konoha never knew who it was. Great, since he can use that kind of black flame, maybe he really is the son of prophecy. Let's find this person first. Zilai was also excited. Then the people in the office began to recall all kinds of details about the mysterious man in detail, hoping to find more clues. In the end, a breakthrough was found from Namikaze Minato. It turns out that Yahiko, Nagato, and Xiaonan have also seen the mysterious man. It just so happens that the 3 of them are my students. I will ask them to see if they can get more clues. By the way, look at them too. It's been a long time since I left Yuyan village. Jiraiya happily made the decision. Pete, fortunately, I was not at ease, and used the technique of telescope to spy, otherwise my identity would really be exposed. Seeing all of these flowing blades through the technique of the telescope, I felt fortunate secretly. Yahiko and the others have seen the true appearance of Ryu Ren, not only that, but also know Ryu Ren's name. As long as Jiraiya asks these 3 people, something will definitely happen. Of course, with Lu Ren's current strength, even if his identity is really exposed, no one can do anything to Lu Ren, but that would be too much trouble. He was accustomed to the days when the salted fish sign in every day, the days when his parents greeted him every day, and the days when he returned to the clan and the people to brag about each other. Ryurin does not want to change this situation. It seems that I have to take some measures. Lu Ren secretly made a decision in his heart. Just in time, I will also take this opportunity to see if I can sneak into Miaomu Mountain to sign in. After making the decision, Ryurin seems to be quietly going to work and patrolling. But in fact, it was a ninja crow, which has been circling in the village and used to stalk Jiraiya. Don't look at Jiraiya's usual unreliable appearance, but when it comes to serious business, he is not ambiguous at all. He didn't delay in Konoha at all. After he came out of Hokage's office, he went straight out of the village without even drinking saliva. Lu Ren naturally didn't have any nonsense, and left a clone directly in Konoha, quietly following behind Jiraiya. Because this time the task is not so urgent, so Jiraiya also did not use the teleportation technique to hurry, but it was like traveling. While wandering, relaxing, hurrying, and even taking time to soak in a hot spring. Needless to say, the materials are collected during this period. It is just basic exercise. Sometimes it takes several hours to collect materials. Well, the flow blade is also a very reliable evaluation. According to Jiraiya's rushing method, I don't know how many days it will take when we leave the country of fire. Lu Ren, who was very speechless, had to temporarily return first. Still leaving a ninja to monitor Jiraiya. It was not until the afternoon of the 3rd day that the old man Jiraiya finally left the country of fire and appeared in an extremely remote wilderness. Hurrah! After the ninja circling nearby, it flew away. However, after the ninja flew away, a vortex appeared in the space of that place, and Lu Ren directly used the divine power to drive over. Transformation. Boom. After using the transformation technique to change his appearance, Lu Ren just started the instant body technique and followed Jiraiya. Jiraiya, who was on his way leisurely, suddenly stopped. Jiraiya is a master himself, and Lu Ren did not deliberately cover up his tracks, so Jiraiya was aware of it in advance by the long distance. Swish swish. Ryuin had just a few ups and downs, and stopped in front of Jiraiya, blocking Jiraiya's way. Shameless thing, where to go? I'm going to settle accounts with you today. Lu Ren, who has become another person, shouted at Jiraiya in a very angry tone, as if he and Jiraiya also hated his wife. Zilai also had a confused look on his face. He stared at Lu Ren carefully for a while, but didn't respond. Your Excellency, I don't seem to have seen you before. Did you recognize the wrong person? Bah, Jiraiya, I'm looking for you, how can I admit the wrong person? You dare to hook up with my wife and give me a cuckold, I'm going to kill you today. Lu Ren also called out to Jiraiya. That, Your Excellency has misunderstood. Cold sweat broke out on Jiraiya's forehead. I am a decent gentleman, how could I do such a thing? Don't argue, I've seen it with my own eyes. You secretly kiss my wife's face and touch her ass, how can I be a big man? I'm going to kill you. Lu Ren shouted fiercely in a murderous tone. Swish swish. After the clamor was over, Lu Ren turned his hand over, took out a huge shuriken, and shot at Jiraiya. The huge shuriken split into countless clones at the first moment, turned into a rain of shuriken swords, and covered the path towards Zilai. This is. Jiraiya's complexion changed slightly, his hands completed the knot in an instant, and he patted the ground, too done too luby. Boom! An extremely thick earth wall instantly rose up in front of Jiraiya, blocking Jiraiya's whole person behind. All the shuriken hit the wall. Jiraiya just jumped out from behind the earth wall, and his face has become a little dignified. He stared at Lu Ren and asked in a deep voice, this is a ninjutsu created by my teacher, how can you use it? I have a nickname called Copy Master. As long as I see ninjutsu, I can copy it. I have seen Sarutobi Hizen use this ninjutsu once. Flowing edge nonsense. Nonsense. Hurry up and be honest, who are you and what are your goals? Zilai also shouted at Lu Ren. You will know if you beat me. Lu Ren said to Jiraiya deliberately provocatively. The purpose of his interception this time is to prevent Jiraiya from going to see Yahiko and the others, and secondly, to fight with Jiraiya, forcing Jiraiya to channel the Toad of Miyagi Mountain. Then Lu Ren will quietly leave the Flying Thunder God technique on the Toad of Miaomu Mountain, so that he can sneak into Miaomu Mountain to sign in. So the fight with Jiraiya is essential. And not only to fight, but also to fight uncontrollably, unable to parry, and had to summon psychic beasts to defend against the enemy. You're right about this sentence. If you win, you can't do it if you don't say it. Zilai also snorted coldly. Tatata. In an instant, Jiraiya rushed in front of Lu Ren. So fast. Lu Ren was slightly startled, and Jiraiya is indeed a Sannin, it can be seen from the physical skills alone, at least he threw Lu Ren out of the street. Spiral pills. In the blink of an eye, a ball that shone with blue light condensed in Jiraiya's hand. Spiral pills. I'm sorry, I will too. Lu Ren smiled lightly, and a ball that was exactly the same as Jiraiya's hand also appeared in his right hand. How come? A look of surprise appeared on Jiraiya's face, and the dignified expression also increased a bit. He held the spiral pill and slammed it towards Lu Ren. Ryuin also held the spiral maru, as if he was going to confront Jiraiya head-on. However, just when the two sides were about to collide, Lu Ren turned around slightly for no reason, and directly used the divine power to blur. Jiraiya also pierced directly out of the body of Lu Ren. Nani. Jiraiya was also fooled by Lu Ren, and the empty door behind him was exposed to Lu Ren. Lu Ren turned around a long time ago, seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and slapped Jiraiya's back with the spiral pill in his hand. However, Jiraiya is one of the 3 ninjas after all, and it will not be so easy to be recruited. At this critical moment, the spiral pill in Jiraiya's hand dissipated directly, and he clapped his hands, Ninja Needle Jizo. In the blink of an eye, Jiraiya's white hair suddenly skyrocketed, surrounding Jiraiya's whole body. To put it simply, Jiraiya at this moment has also become a group of hedgehogs. Chi. Especially when Ryublade was close to Jiraiya, Jiraiya's hair turned into sharp blades and stabbed towards Ryublade. Lu Ren ignored it and continued to press the spiral pill in his hand fiercely. There is an extremely powerful energy vortex around the helix pill, and any hair that enters a certain range around the helix pill will be repelled by the powerful energy vortex. Coupled with such a flash of lightning, it was actually too late for Jiraiya to rush out this move. The defense is enough, but there is not so much time for him to hurt people. Almost as soon as the sharp blade of the hair protruded, the spiral pill of Ryu blade was already pressed on it. Boom! A powerful energy wave burst out. Jiraiya was instantly blown away by Lu Ren. However, after a few bounces, Jiraiya stood firmly on the ground. Most of Spiral Maru's attacks were defended by Needle Jizo, but it didn't actually cause much damage to Jiraiya. But Jiraiya's eyes looking at Lu Ren were full of solemnity and surprise. This person has suppressed himself in such a short period of time, and his strength is too unfathomable. Fire escape fire bomb. Jiraiya quickly formed seals with both hands, opening his mouth, and spewing out a mighty flame at the flowing blade. Lu Ren's eyes were immediately covered by the overwhelming flames. Jiraiya's fire escape ninjutsu, although a little worse than Uchiha Madara's fire escape, is much more powerful than ordinary people. When did Huo Dun ninjutsu kill someone? Lu Ren shrugged, and Yo-Yo spit out a word. With his current chakra volume, naturally he would not choose to confront Jiraiya head-on, which is extremely unwise. So Lu Ren directly took out a flying thunder god kunai and shot it at Jiraiya. Call. Kuwu flew out of the sea of fire and approached the face of Zilai. Ji Lai also had a cold face, slightly surprised. He really couldn't understand the meaning of Lu Ren shooting this pain in this situation. Does the other party think that this can hurt him? That is simply impossible. But when this thought just flashed in his mind, Jiraiya felt a sudden flash in front of his eyes. A figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Undoubtedly it's the blade. This is Minato's flying thunder god. Jiraiya's pupils shrank slightly. Squeak squeak. In Lu Ren's hand, thunder and lightning swayed endlessly, and a depressing supreme thunder power also filled the air. At the same time, it was more like 1,000 birds were chirping in their ears, piercing the eardrums almost to the point of splitting. Kakashi, that kid's Chidori. Jiraiya also feels a little big-headed. Although this mysterious man doesn't make many shots, basically every move is a unique move of Konoha ninja. What is the origin of this person? At the same time that these thoughts flashed through his mind, Zilai also immediately used the teleportation technique and swung to the side. The Chidori of the flowing blade, directly lost. As expected of Jiraiya, you can avoid it like this. Lu Ren's face was full of admiration. He used Fei Lei Shen to appear in front of Jiraiya almost instantly. How could ordinary ninjas react, and most of them would be directly overturned by Ryuin with Chidori. Jiraiya can dodge perfectly. This kind of strength is indeed worthy of the name of Sanin. It seems that if you don't come up with some strength, it's not good to force the toad of your psychic Miaomu mountain to help. Ryu made a decision. At this moment, he took off the sunglasses on his face, revealing his pair of scarlet kaleidoscopes. Anyway, Lu Ren had already planned this time. This time, he was going to use other gods to tamper with Jiraiya's memory, making Jiraiya mistakenly think that he had met Yahiko and several others. And the information obtained from Yahiko and the others is completely consistent with Namikaze Minato. That way you can't fail. So he is not afraid of exposing the Wheel Eye. Jiraiya was also surprised. Sharingan. You are from Uchiha. This is something that Jiraiya never thought of. At this moment, he finally understands why the other party has so many ninjutsu. If you beat me, I'll tell you everything, but you haven't beat me yet. Lu Ren smiled coldly, looking at Jiraiya's eyes and pupils. Divine power. The divine power this time is remote divine power. Crack. Jiraiya's head was directly cut off by Rukin, turned into a headless corpse, and fell to the ground like that. Boom. But at the moment when the headless corpse fell to the ground, a burst of blue smoke came out of the corpse and turned into a piece of wood. Jiraiya also used the avatar technique at a critical moment. But what Jiraiya didn't know at all was that Lu Ren had no killing intent towards him, so the long-range divine might had been delayed a lot, leaving Jiraiya's time to react. Otherwise, he will be seriously injured even if he doesn't die, and it is absolutely impossible to deal with it with just a small substitute technique. Rao is so. Jiraiya also broke out in cold sweat, and touched his neck subconsciously. Just now, a crisis of life and death suddenly hit his mind. If he slowed down a little bit, his head would be gone. More importantly, he has been on the edge of life and death for a while, and he doesn't even know what means the other party uses. This man is too dangerous. Are you hiding? Jiraiya, don't you dare to fight me head on. Lu Ren deliberately said in an arrogant tone, looking at the empty environment. Tu Dun Wangquan Marsh. In the vagueness, such a voice sounded in Lu Ren's ear, and the soil under his feet suddenly turned into a swamp. Lu Ren's body was instantly unbalanced. Messy lion hair technique. Immediately after, Jiraiya suddenly jumped out using the instant body technique, and his hair turned into a waterfall and flew out directly. At this moment of lightning, the entire body of Lu Ren was entangled. The feeling on Lu Ren's side is that his feet were soft, and his body just shook, and then he was tightly bound by white hair. He didn't even have time to fly Thor. Moreover, because the binding is not an attack, the short-range Shinwei did not automatically transfer his body into the Shinwei space. Of course, because he has enough strength to protect himself now, Lu Ren does not plan to use the power of Samsara Eye as a last resort, so Shen Luo Tianzheng and so on are not taken into account. But even so, Lu Ren was captured by Jiraiya in such a short period of time, and it has to be said that Sannin deserves to be Sannin. It's really not something that ordinary people can compare to. Luckily, Ryuji has many other abilities. Now, can you answer my question? Jiraiya asked with a dignified expression, tying Ryuin tightly with his hair. Because he was afraid of the damage of Lu Ren's long-range divine power, Jiraiya did not dare to appear in front of Lu Ren, but appeared on the side of Lu Ren. Although the long-range divine power just now only had a glimpse, Jiraiya also immediately guessed that it was a kind of pupil technique. Therefore, he consciously avoided standing outside the line of sight of Lu Ren. Jiraiya, do you think you caught me so easily? You underestimate me too. Lu Ren's confident voice sounded, and he didn't have the consciousness of being caught at all. His methods were much more than Jiraiya expected. Thousands of birds. Along with Lu Ren's low cry, his body began to ripple with thunder chakra. At the same time, all around Lu Ren, a net of lightning suddenly appeared. Both Jiraiya and Jiraiya's hair were all within the attack range of that lightning net. If Jiraiya continues to restrain Rukin, he will definitely be injured by Rukin's Chidori Ryu. Although he was still extremely unwilling, Jiraiya had to put away his hair and use the teleportation technique to dodge at the first moment. Only then did Chidori Ryu dodge the Ryu blade. If you take one step further, the thunder and lightning will really fall on you. Thunderbolt ninjutsu without knots. Jiraiya's expression was very solemn at this time, and the power of Lu Ren had far exceeded his expectations. The opponent's means are numerous, and the moves are treacherous and powerful, all of which Jiraiya has never encountered before. Divine power. Just when Jiraiya was shocked, Lu Ren turned his head sharply, and suddenly launched a long-range divine power against Jiraiya. Danger. Jiraiya once again felt a life-and-death crisis, and he subconsciously launched the teleportation technique to dodge. But at this moment, he couldn't dodge it perfectly, and Shinwei directly cut a hole in Jiraiya's shoulder, and blood spurted out. Not bad, Jiraiya, dodged again, but how many times do you think you can dodge? Lu Ren said to Jiraiya with a playful expression while holding his arms. Jiraiya's face is not to mention how ugly. That weird attack is almost impossible to guard against. If you don't pay attention, you will be attacked, and there is no way to effectively resist it. It's a headache. Even if he had dodged twice in a row, Jiraiya was not confident that he could dodge the third time. Although he didn't want to admit it, Jiraiya also had to admit that there was no way he could defeat this mysterious man by himself. Woohoo! Thinking of this, Jiraiya no longer hesitated, he started to form a seal, and slapped the ground violently. A circle of spells spread out. Boom! As Qing Yan passed by, a behemoth appeared in front of Lu Ren. With a pipe in his mouth and a dagger hanging from his waist, it was Konoha's old friend Toad Bunta. This guy has signed contracts with Jiraiya, Minato Namikaze, and the future Naruto, and it can be said that he has served Naruto and their grandfather and grandson for 3 generations. Those eyes. Is this from the Uchiha clan? Jiraiya, what's going on? Toad Bunta asked in a dazed way. I don't know the situation too well. I ran out of such an enemy inexplicably. Toad Bunta, be careful with his eyes. His pupil technique is not simple. Besides, he can even know Minato's flying thunder god. Besides, Jiraiya stood on top of Toad Bunta's head, and explained to Toad Bunta with a serious face. It's too long-winded. Toad Wen muttered impatiently, and then jumped, like a hill, crushing it towards Lu Ren. Toad Wentai has such a huge body, it is impossible to be fast in speed. Lu Ren doesn't even need to fly Thunder God, just use the instant body technique to avoid it. During this process, Lu Ren quietly left a flying Thunder God technique on Toad Bunta. Then the next step is to turn over Toad Wentai. Lu Ren thought about it for a while, and if he wanted to smash a big guy like Toad Wentai, ordinary methods would not play a big role. You have to come up with real skills. Time to try your own Susa. Ever since Lu Ren has a true eternal kaleidoscope shaker, he has never experienced what it feels like. Little devil, do you only know how to run away? Toad Wentai chased Lu Ren a few times and missed, and suddenly shouted at Lu Ren. Hee, if I don't run, then it's your turn to run. Lu Ren laughed. No more nonsense, the kaleidoscope in his eyes turned. Huge blue energy began to condense and circulate around Lu Ren, and in the blink of an eye, a blue energy giant appeared in front of Toad Wentai and Jiraiya. But seeing that the blue giant is wearing armor, holding a sword in his hand, and Toad Wentai's body of 17 meters, he is a younger brother in front of Susa. Susanoo, Jiraiya, this Uchiha clan will open Susanoo, why didn't you tell me earlier? Toad Wentai looked up at the behemoth in front of him and was completely dumbfounded. Boom! Jiraiya didn't even have time to talk, and Lu Ren controlled Susanoo to kick Toad Bunta with one kick, and he couldn't even use a weapon. Toad Bunta's huge body was kicked away like a sandbag at this moment, and rolled several times on the ground. Jiraiya, I have no strength, I have to go back, if you can't go to Miaomu Mountain to hide, don't be brave. Toad Bunta also said to Jiraiya, lying on the ground. The gods are pitiful, the Toad Bunta, who is so arrogant, can't even stop Suzuo's casual kick. Boom! After saying those words, Toad Wentai turned into blue smoke and disappeared, and fled back to Miaomu Mountain in a dreadful state. So far, Lu Ren's plan is half completed. Next, as long as he replaces the previous memory for Jiraiya with Tianshan, he can go to Miaomu Mountain to sign in with confidence. To deal with the rank of Jiraiya, there is no need for Susa, and Rairan immediately retreated from the Susa state. Your Excellency, with your strength, if you want to kill me, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold on now, right? Jiraiya is not stupid either. After seeing that Ryuan can kill Toad Bunta in seconds, he is more and more sure of this. Since you know this, why don't you just let it go? Lu Ren raised his brows. Haha, that can't be done. How can I say it's also a 3 forbearance, and I want to save face? Zilai also decisively rejected Lu Ren's kind-hearted proposal. Lu Ren didn't talk nonsense anymore, he directly carried a kunai and rushed towards Jiraiya. Jiraiya was also not to be outdone, and also killed towards Lu Ren, and the two sides kunai collided in the air. Jingle! The crisp sound of gold and iron rang out, and a fire burst out. Then Jiraiya took advantage of the trend and kicked towards Lu Ren. What Jiraiya never expected was that this simple kick actually knocked Lu Ren to the ground. But after Lu Ren fell to the ground, it immediately turned into a piece of wood. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.